Welcome back to Han Took Shots First. We're still discussing Andor. That's not a bad thing. I'm Derek.
I'm Jack.
I'm Ryan.
And we're discussing Episode 3, Reckoning. Back, as I said, for the third episode of Andor titled Reckoning, which also came out on September 21st, 2022. So we got 3 on the first drop.
Oh, and you know what? That makes sense because they're very connected.
Yeah.
This is the culmination of the two fluffers.
Yeah.
This is the nutter.
But then they should have just given us 3 each week so we could get each mini story.
Uh-huh.
But they didn't, so.
I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, because I think that's what got me, is I waited a couple weeks, and then I was like, wait, all these came out on one day? I should have watched this right away.
Yep.
What, after the first 3 or just these first 3 got dropped on one day?
Just these first 3 got dropped on the first day, and I waited like 3 weeks to watch it. So by the time I was watching it, it was the second part of the story was almost over, and I was like, holy shit, dude. But this one, again, directed by Toby Haynes, written by Tony Gilroy, and it also features the first time someone says shit in Star Wars.
Ooh, yeah. It's actually not the only curse word that was supposed to be in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't want to say too much because Ryan hasn't gotten there. So remind me when we get to it. But there's supposed to be a big F-bomb.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Guess what? This isn't Star Wars. This is drunk people talking about Star Wars.
Disney. This is drunk people talking about Disney and making fun of Disney.
Disney doesn't own me. I don't think.
Not yet.
So there are a few things I need to clarify from the last episode that we did that I've learned researching these. So first, we said something about, like, we're talking about the Imperial mining disaster that they reference on Kenari.
Uh-huh.
That has not happened yet with the kids. The kids in the flashback, that's taking place 24 BBY.
Okay.
Which is, falls, we find during this episode, during the Republic. Because Marva mentions the Republic coming.
Yeah.
So it's it's still the Republic. So the Republic is still doing some fucked up shit. There's still something going on here.
That I thought that was weird because they, when Marva and Clem are like, oh, there's a Republic commandos on the way. We have to leave him. She's like, no, they just killed a Republic officer. I was like, wait a minute, Republic? Because we thought we said CIS.
Yeah, and because that was the logo.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, but like, I just know that she said Republic, and I actually rewound it. I was like, wait, did she say, because I wrote Republic in my notes, and I was like, that's not right. Hold on. Rewind. Wait, yeah, she said Republic. And then,
Republic versus Separatist, that was the whole Clone Wars.
Well, I think maybe, so, and I didn't write all of this down, but I did some looking up, and it's 2 years before the Separatist like war or whatever, when the Separatists separated.
Okay.
So these people are like the beginning of that.
Is what I'm gathering. This Signia will they will leave.
Yeah. And then also these guys are definitely yellow because they're poisoned. You see it better here because you get better close-up shots.
Yeah.
And you can see that they have like different colored skin going up into the yellow.
And you also have
Clem
and what's her name wearing masks. So.
Yeah. Well, and also though, I had posited that if the mining disaster happened, these kids were maybe immune to it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So these guys weren't. So then Clem and Marva would still be wearing the masks. But yeah. The mining disaster is 11 BBY.
Okay.
Which is,
10
it was just
plus.
13 years after they pick him up.
So this is just an isolated disaster, not even disaster, a crash or a wreck of sorts, and whatever gets them to condemn the planet is coming up after. Much later.
I actually did write, I actually did
clarify.
screenshot something now that I think about it. So yeah, the flashback scenes take place before the Separatist crisis. So this was the Republic's doing, despite the machinations of Darth Sidious, Dooku, So yeah, I just was looking at, somebody had written a fucking treatise on Reddit, and I screenshotted it, and then I realized that it was 11,000 pages long.
Oh boy!
So but it's got the whole timeline of everything up to the beginning of the show involving Andor, like
Hey,
when he was born and everything.
It's good to have hobbies.
But yeah, so that's something to clarify. The people are not yellow, and also
They are
the
not
IMDb
yellow.
was wrong on those first 2 episodes for Karn's first name, or at least the first episode where I looked up his name. It said Syria, which is what we kept saying. They still don't say it on the show,
Cyril.
but now it says Cyril,
Cyril. That's what I thought it was.
like Cyril Figgis. But I thought it was weird. I was just like, I don't know, fucking Star Wars, dude. But now on the later episodes of the IMDb, it says Cyril, and I'm like, that sounds more right.
Yeah.
Sounds like a name.
God, I love this. I love to hate this character. Like, he is just a classic, no power, needs to throw around what little weight he does have. Like, he has no control over everything in his life. But when he's in this unit, he is fucking ready to throw that little bit of weight around.
Speaking of throwing your weight around, fucking, we'll get to it, but this Moss guy in this episode is hilarious.
I love him.
And insane.
Yeah.
He's everything that's wrong with police.
Who, the Scott?
Yeah,
Oh,
the Scott.
man,
And I think you see why I said he was probably Imperial or wanted to be Imperial.
Yeah.
Because he's knows a little bit of what he's doing, but he's also drinking while he's getting ready to fucking set up a snipe line.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the Canary thing real quick, because it doesn't really tie together. It's thematically
It does
together,
go back
but-
and forth, but we can get it out in one.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the big setup that it's showing us is 2 things. He hates the Empire, and Marva saves him and adopts him.
Yeah, I was wrong last episode assuming that, like, this is the last time he saw his sister because she's gone when he gets back. He's the one who's gone. He goes back to explore the ship. He starts smashing shit up because he doesn't understand what's going on, and he's mad that his friend's dead.
I think he just also sees the symbol for the Empire or the Republic or whatever this symbol is. It could be privatized.
Yeah, it could be
He sees this symbol as just like, I hate this. This is what's wrong with my planet right now.
Oh, okay.
This is what is causing all of us to be Lord of the Flies.
And
Okay.
their mountainscape is all mined out mountains, right? Some of them.
Oh
they're
yeah.
just
Yeah, in the
terraformed,
last one of the
more
last
mined
episodes,
out,
man,
but-
that thing was stripped.
But basically, Marva and Clem show up, who I don't think we even get his name this time.
No.
But I mean, we
that's
find out
where the name Clem
that's
is
where
from?
Clem
Okay,
comes
I didn't
from the
remember
next
that.
episode.
Okay.
Do we find it in this episode or no?
No, I don't think so.
I think she says it.
Oh, okay. They're with B, and he's all shiny and new and doesn't stutter.
Let's be too emo.
Don't be too emo.
They're there to basically
Barely emo at this point.
He's whatever pre-emo. He's goth.
No, he's still wearing like Tommy Hilfiger and
I
shit.
could open that door, but what's the point?
But yeah, they're there to salvage shit from the ship, like fuel cells, I think they say.
Yep.
And basically the Republic's coming, they need to get out of there. She knocks out Andor or Casa at this point and takes him with her. She's like, we got to do it to protect him. I'm like, do you really just want a kid and can't have one, and you're stealing babies?
I mean, her reasoning is right if she's to be believed. That as soon as they find this kid with all these dead bodies, they're gonna just fucking execute him or take him away and experiment on whatever they want to do, slave camp, yada yada. So I mean, if she's to be believed, she's doing the right thing. Because Clem, it's setting up. This is a save the cat moment where she has to. It's showing us that we like her.
Yeah.
It's showing us that she's a better person. Clem wants to leave him. He's like, sorry, we just got to worry about ourselves, dude. It's going to take us 9 minutes to get there. We ain't got time to be hauling little shitbirds around that don't speak English.
I do like when
Basic.
they're getting into the ship and they hear him smashing shit. And he's like, maybe we should go back. And she's like, that could be anything. And starts going forward. And he's like, no, yeah, let's just go forward also. That's pretty much it for the flashback part of the story.
Yeah.
So then we can get to the meat of the story, which is the other 43 minutes of this 47 minutes.
Yeah, not this weirdly interspersed flashback, the tiniest.
You got these rent-a-cops just going through the fucking city.
Dude.
Oh, first, you see, like, they have these ships they call pods, which I like because they're barely ships.
Yeah.
Because it connects
Tiny
to a very,
transport.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they're
it's
drop
just
ships.
to break orbit and get back up. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just drop ships.
And it's barely can handle, like, the entry that quick is just shaking like a motherfucker.
I thought you were
It's
going to
probably-
say it could barely handle all these dudes. And I'm like, well, there's Mosk and this 7-foot black dude with him. So
And, well, and then
they're
behind-
over the weight limit already.
And then right behind Mosk is another guy I watched with Kendra, and she's like, "Is that his brother? Are they twins?" There's a guy that looks just like him.
Oh, really?
That's not gingery. He's one of the ones in the house with Marva, But like when they're walking out of the ship, they're fucking like badass moment. I'm like, oh man.
But yeah, and it starts though right where they're dropping down. Andor is telling Brasso like, "Hey, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here right now. Marva's got the money I owe you." He's like, "None of this sounds good." He's like, I wouldn't worry about it. I'll be back.
Yeah, I love this town,
dude. These people full on pull an end of Spider-Man 1, the Sam Raimi one.
Yeah, where
you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Nobody in New York would ever say that. Hey, you mess with him, you mess with all of New York. No, we have our heads down. We're not looking. Go on, kill that boy.
Yeah, I'll just like what? They're just all gonna start playing bucket drums in the subway, like distract breakdancing.
I saw the last episode of Seinfeld. People from New York don't give a fuck.
Exactly,
and they go to prison for it.
Yeah,
only if they're in the South.
I love this town though. It's like a bunch of like fucking libertarian miners. I don't mean underage. Like they're just a bunch of like workers that just pretty much want to be left alone in every sense of it.
Yeah.
So they don't like this fucking privatized army corpo shit coming through.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think anybody except Tim and Bix Timum, Bix, Brazo, and Marva know that he's from. That Cassian Andor's from.
Well, and the
Kenari.
other guy that
Kenari.
warns Bix, because he seemed to know.
Who?
The other guy. They didn't give him a name.
Oh.
The one that ran in and warned Bix.
Gotcha.
I think the thing is Cassian gets hammered and he's just like, I don't even like Fest. Fest is fucking stupid. I'm from Kenari.
Kenari's awesome.
Hey, did I ever tell you I was from Kenari? Yes, you told me, Cassian.
Knock, knock. Who's there? A guy from Kenari. It's me. Open the door. I want a drink. You got that nog?
Obi-Wan Kenobi was the best Jedi.
Did I say
ever.
Obi-Wan Kenobi? Sorry, I meant Old Ben Kenobi. Let me change it up for you.
But Luthen lands on the space bus and he's trying to get the fuck out of there as fast as possible, but this little old man won't leave him alone.
I was going to say, he's getting accosted by a traveling salesman.
And
What's the missus do?
I didn't catch this the last time. Because this guy was mostly featured in the last episode. In this one, he's basically just still talking as Luthen walks away from him. But
another thing about the government I don't like. Hey, where are you going? He's walking fast, that one.
But this old man, apparently the character's name is Willie, which makes sense. Willie with an I, of course. At the end.
I was gonna say, I think all Willies have an eye.
Now, if they were doing
if
if they were really going full,
Willie,
all Willies have an eye.
if they were going full Star Wars, it would be Willi.
Or 3 L's.
But it's played by a guy named Ron Cook, who I want to mention. And as soon as I found out who it was, and I saw this episode, like going back in my head thinking about the character talking, I recognized the voice. But he was on an episode we did for Bad Movies, Worst People during our mental health month on our Patreon with the mental health episodes, like our super mental health. He's in Hot Fuzz. He plays George Merchant, who's the fridge magnate with the gaudy house that gets blowed the fuck up.
He's fucking hammered as shit.
Yeah, he's the one that's pissing on the arcade machine or the pinball machine. They do the whole like, much is my ride?
Yeah, here's 20.
Here's your change. Thank you. You know, that whole thing.
Yeah. Hey, look, we did get a little drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
When I rewatch it, I'm going to look for that character.
Yeah, like I didn't.
He's very easy to spot. I mean, he's a big, not a huge character, but he's a named plot character.
Yeah, and I didn't notice while I was watching. I had his name written down because I saw him in the credits. I didn't notice while I was watching, but once I realized who it was, I thought back on his voice and was like, oh, he sounds just like him.
Much like Luthen, you're trying to avoid eye contact by proxy. You're like, I don't want to come out of this TV and talk to me, dude.
Well, and the thing is, he was sober in this, and I think every time he spoke in Hot Fuzz, he was hammered drunk. So.
He had that really nice inflection.
But yeah, that old man's still bothering him. He's like, oh, you stayed at the hotel? And Luthen's just like, bye.
Dude, could have had fucking Tobo play this guy. Fucking Groundhog's Day.
Stephen Tobolowsky.
Oh, yeah.
Ned?
He would play it.
Ned
the character's
Ryerson?
got a name. He's got his hierarchy of character actor stuff. Have you heard about this?
No.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? So basically, he's like, you've got your rankings of where you can consider yourself as a character actor. He's like, you've got your characters with no names, just a job or a description.
Yeah, bartender 1.
Yeah, you've got your character with a name and a description.
Jeff the bartender.
And then you've got your character with a first and last name.
Ooh, Jeffrey Smith.
Yeah.
The bartender.
Well, they wouldn't put that, but you would know because in the movie,
we know.
In the movie, they would say, "Oh, that's Jeffrey Smith. He's the bartender." But the credits would just say Jeffrey Smith.
Ooh, yeah, you've made it if you get that last
This guy
name.
is kind of on that second tier because he doesn't have a last name, so he's just Willie. Willie the annoying salesman.
But he's not the annoying salesman.
So season 2, this guy's popping up for sure.
He's coming back as a Sith Lord.
I'd believe it.
I would too.
If you believe the Jar Jar thing, then this guy's definitely a Sith.
Come here.
He's just as annoying.
This guy's playing the annoying fool. And then pretty soon,
yeah, he's Darth Mustache.
pretty soon he gets canceled.
But so Luthen's walking quickly through the streets. Bix sees him. They do this quick walk and talk meetup that's supposed to not be conspicuous, but Bix isn't good at cloak and dagger like Luthen.
Yeah.
He's walking forward, not looking at her, not acknowledging her, just he'll say words.
You see
She's
his
like
walking
turned
stick?
and walking sideways and talking directly to him.
You see his walking stick?
Yeah.
It's
Pretty badass,
Very
yeah.
lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's definitely a gun, right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he doesn't use it in this, but
But to me, it's just like an analog lightsaber. Like
Yeah.
this guy's a fucking Jedi simp.
basically he knows about the APB that's out on Andor.
He's in the business of knowing.
Yeah, he knows a lot about
Yes.
Andor. He knows more about Andor than I did, and I've watched the first 2 episodes and Rogue One.
He might know as much about Andor as Andor. Your dad's name was, wait, I had a dad?
Andor's surprised by almost everything this guy knows.
Yeah.
Especially later on when he's like, I was fighting in the war. He's like, you were a cook for 6 months. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck off with that fucking stolen valor shit.
But he's just like, okay, yeah, he's wanted, but do you trust him? And her response, well, he'll be there.
Not helping. Not helping.
I don't know if he had already shaved at this point, but he's shaving to look exactly like the hologram that.
Oh no, he shaves when he gets in this next episode. When he gets
it's later
to
on.
Aldhani.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
a valid point. What
He
good
does.
is that?
I mean, he's got some stubble. It's a
I don't
terrible
look like
razor.
my wanted poster. Hold on. Ah, perfect. Just the right amount of stubble too. You can't shave too close. I wasn't close shaving in the hologram.
I don't think he knows what the hologram looks like because they didn't send that out.
No, he doesn't.
They just sent out a description, so he's like, well, they know me. I had a beard.
Star Wars disguise as having a beard.
What he needed to do was ask Luthen about disguises because
Yeah.
this guy's got it down.
Damn.
Yeah. This guy's got a hidden fucking dressing room.
But I do like the people in the shipyard or whatever the fuck this is, the salvage yard, when they're like walking by and they're just like, oh, haven't seen any blues in a while, and all, it's like,
Oh, they are saying that.
yeah,
when walking
they're
through.
already like, these motherfuckers, and
Because there's no presence on the planet.
no,
It's wherever.
it's
it's
just-
either another moon or they're on I'm assuming another moon or
I think
planet.
it's a planet.
A
The way they
planet,
made
yeah.
it sound.
So
It's
and then
just that settlement. Or
Well,
no?
Ferrix is this planet. I think this is the main settlement. It might be the only settlement.
it could be. We've seen planets like that
Yeah.
before. Could be a Tatooine type place.
They go fucking do a no-knock raid at Marva's house, as the police are known to do.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they do knock, I guess, but they don't wait to come in.
Not at all.
They've got their warrant. They're tossing the house. All these people are gathering outside and watching. And this is when Mosk starts showing his like fucking thin blue line, angry cop face. Cause
Yep.
he's just like, oh, we're drawing attention. He's getting excited that like they're going to be doing
Ooh.
the shit. I mean,
There's gonna
all
be a
these
scrap.
guys think that they're like real cops.
Yeah.
But they're just like mall security.
Yeah.
And I mean, and there's mercs, there's mercenaries in the Middle East,
Yeah.
hired by many people. And
Yeah,
you
but
do
those guys
similar
are
shit,
more real cops than these
True.
guys.
Oh yeah, like a private army kind of thing.
yeah,
like
these guys
Blackwater.
are like these guys work for like fucking Loomis or whatever. They're like the guys guarding the money that
These
you're
are
taking
the,
to the
yeah. These
Yeah.
are armored
mall.
car banks.
But they have
Yeah.
as much
Armored car
power
cops.
as a mercenary.
Yeah, I mean these
but
guys
you
have
are
full power.
you're a
they got deputized.
armored truck guard.
They do start questioning B, and like I felt so bad. B's barely in these 2 episodes, but I felt so bad for him because they're like, "Hey, we've got another guy here." He's like, "Where the fuck is Andor, B?"
Yeah.
or droid. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, tear out his fucking battery. He's like, wait,
Whoa.
hold the fuck up, dude.
Dude, just close your box up for a couple days. Let this
Yeah,
blow
that's
over.
what I'm surprised for. He didn't like, because what happens here is right now, Andor starts calling to talk to B, and his stuff's all out loud, which goes back to the thing we've talked about in the
R2-D2.
prequels and stuff. Like, why are you giving these droids comlinks? Shouldn't it be built into their heads? But like it's they can hear Andor trying to call him, and he just sits there like, oh fuck. I'm like, why didn't he just close into like fireproof box
Maybe
and tell him like, holy shit, dude, Marva's here and they're getting her. Like,
don't say anything too sensitive. They're listening.
I mean, the technology has been worse in this a lot of this universe or this part of the universe, it's worse than we see in a lot of the other Star Wars movies. It's a little more rudimentary.
Like he's mind proof, is what we determined.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they would be able to hear him, but like close up and be like, "Dude, they're fucking up the house. They're coming for you." And
maybe
then
his programming won't allow him to,
or maybe he's worried that Marva will get hurt.
Oh, for sure that.
So.
He's too emo. He's like, ooh, cut me.
But they overhear it and they track him because, you never have a cell phone when you're doing illegal shit.
No, God.
And if you do, make sure it's a burner.
And step on it when you're done.
Throw that shit in a bucket of water.
Luthen then gets to the warehouse, whatever it is that Andor's waiting in.
Yeah, it's a warehouse of
this
chains.
Fucking death warehouse with just engines and large parts hanging off the ceiling.
You know what? Much to Ryan's point right now, they don't have like the levitation technology. They have it, but it's expensive. Chains aren't.
Well, no, and I get that, but like, first of all, this warehouse comes down a lot easier than it should based on the fact that it's already holding all this shit up. This is
they weren't expecting
tons of
blasters
weight.
and fucking explosions.
It just seems like a bad idea to have all the engines in one warehouse.
I agree.
Like, put them on racks.
No, put them up high. That way, when they fall, they kill somebody. And make sure they're really close so when one goes down, they all go down.
Real long chain so it whips around and catches people.
Make sure you don't bolt it in too deep into the brick.
Whoever was designing this was like, look, if a shootout happens in this warehouse.
Oh, that's Macaulay Culkin.
Which, if a shootout happens here, which is not out of the question in this city, it's going to be fucking epic.
I saw ball bearings all on the floor.
This is Planet Home Alone, dude. The Joe Pescianites are coming in. He's fucking just getting knocked in the face by engine blocks.
It's gonna go full like hard target Mardi Gras warehouse, but
so
instead of a paper mache swan, it's an engine.
You were saying that, I was thinking like, man, where do we put all these old fucking paper maches next to this foundry equipment, all these dirty old electric boxes? We just did our 100th episode on Bad Movies Worst People here.
Yeah, on Hard Target. Go listen to that, even if you don't listen to the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But so I do like that he comes in, Luthen, and he's like, "Hey, are we alone?" And Andor's like, "Well, I am." I don't know about you, dude. Like, cause he's trying to play the like cloak and dagger spy guy, but he doesn't know that he's talking to the cloak and dagger spy guy.
You think you are on this level and you are not.
Yeah. He's like a little kid pretending.
Uh-huh.
But so he's offered $40,000 for the Star Path unit.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Credits.
I almost said star unit.
Credits, yes.
Credits,
but
sorry.
I do want to say that there was talk about reading a thesis. Credits and dollars are 1-to-1 when George Lucas wrote it in 1977.
Oh, so like, but like if
So
we're
now
watching
it's
this
about-
taking place before those episodes.
So now it's about I meant for our time.
Yeah.
For our time, it's about
Okay.
2-to-1 now.
I mean, these take place 5 years before the original, so that would mean that one credit is now worth $460.
I don't think that's how it works.
Our inflation's so bad.
Make the galaxy Sith again.
So we need to make the calculator online. That is, what is this date? You look at the date. How many credits is this worth? Because it's U.S. dollar.
Yeah, that's going to be
equivalent.
super useful. I would love it. As who I am as a person
Like,
would love
in
that.
Rogue One.
You'd be surprised at
40
how
credits.
much fucking traffic that website would
It
get.
probably would too. But he's like, well, an X-wing costs $400,000, and this time, what about our time?
They're having their little negotiations.
Yeah,
This guy comes
back
in.
and forth quipping.
So I wrote down his name is Salmon. Someone says Salmon. But it's the guy that warns Bix that the corpos are there. They're looking for Andor. And fucking Timoma comes over and just gives himself up like an idiot. He's like, you shouldn't go get him.
He can
She's
take
like,
care of himself. Just leave him alone.
Yeah. How
Don't go
the
there.
fuck would you know what we're talking about?
I don't know. I overheard you.
The Force?
You look really pretty today.
And we want to see him get busted for it, but like, come on, dude. Like, dumbass.
You just outed yourself.
Yeah. And
he's in trouble. He's not
She
going to be
didn't
in
have to
trouble for
do
long,
any
if you know what I
digging.
mean.
She's just like, the look on your face, dumbass. Like,
And
there
this
you
girl
go.
being mad at you would be terrifying.
But the
and
makeup
arousing.
sex would be amazing.
Because these angry looks she's giving, I'm like, something's twitching.
Derek's got a fear boner. It happens. It happens.
And she tells him, she's like, "Did I ever tell you that he was from Kenari?" And he's like, I don't think so. And she's like, "No, I did, because I remember the exact conversation. Fuck you."
Yeah.
She did it again.
Damn it.
They remember all the conversations.
She is good.
So do you know anything about Steel Guard? Do you know what that is? As a book reading Star Wars guy?
No, not
All
off
right.
the not off.
That's
top
where
of-
they
or
stole
offhand.
this Starpath unit from, and it's this other lady's jurisdiction. So I was
Oh,
wondering if
yeah,
it was
yeah,
an
yeah.
important
No,
planet.
I did not look it up, and it doesn't ring a bell at all.
Okay.
It sounded very German.
I didn't know if it was an important planet or base
Steel
or
God.
whatever it is.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's only going to be important to this story, but it could be.
Okay.
It could easily be a comic from the older days, or a book for the older days, or even a fucking video game.
Yeah, I'm sure it's from something. The IMDb trivia on these episodes is mostly useless.
Uh-huh.
It's all just translations of the signs that are written in
Go on,
Ashanti.
Arabash.
Arabash. I'm so close.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
get
why
there.
I'm not going to give you shit because you had a lot of the right.
It's only
consonants.
like, including the bonus episodes we did, like the 19th episode we've recorded for this. So I'll
Yeah.
get Arabash eventually.
Yeah, you're getting there.
But I do like Stellan Skarsgård asking him like how he got this unit and stuff, and he's like, "I'll give you extra money," and he's like, "Look, it's not that fucking hard.
Yeah.
They're so fat and satisfied with themselves, they don't even notice if you walk
just
in."
act like you belong there.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
the
Which
dirty hands.
we just saw in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, just
Except for he acted like he belonged
Act
there,
like
dressed
you
like
belong.
a weird hobo with 4 legs. But
the stupidest moment in Star Wars.
but like this is when Luthen gives the hard sell, because he's like, "Yeah, you like fucking with them." Oh, I do like he mentions stealing their trinkets and spitting in their food,
Yeah.
which is
Wow.
just like, man.
Oh, so Steer Guard, not Steel. Steer
Oh, okay.
is
The subtitle said steal.
It's
so.
just it's one of the big Galactic Empire's naval bases.
Oh, okay.
So it's as far as I can
So
tell,
it's in space though.
Yeah.
It's not a planet.
So
Okay.
yeah, but that by Andor, you're just sneaking in. Like I just go in, I put in a shift at work cooking, spit in their food, then I steal some shit. Like
Yeah.
this is like a passion project, buddy.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
You get a uniform, you sneak in.
Also, by the way, that was a really good Andor. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, but he's like you said, he's doing the hard sell.
Yeah,
you know,
because he's
and-
like their days are gonna end. The days of them telling you stop, go, stay here, yelling at people, doing like just
It's the start-
you can see how much he hates
Yeah.
Luthen hates this fucking
it's
shit.
the start of we're gonna see Luthen get this fire burning in everybody, but we're gonna see it also fanned in him. Because there's later coming up that I don't want to say much, but he has a speech that will fucking just tell you what this show is about. Exactly what this show
And
is about.
I don't know if they address it in the show. They do mention like multiple branches of people who are anti-imperial.
Yeah, you
at
get
one
Saw
point,
Gerrera dropped.
But I think so. Is it kind of his thing to kind of bring all these groups together? Is that kind of what they're?
Yes.
I don't think it happens in this show.
I don't-
But not.
I don't
yet,
know if he
but-
wants to bring them together, but he definitely wants to aim it. Because right now you have these partisans like Saw Gerrera, and they mentioned somebody else.
There's the separatists, the
um,
guerrillas, I
but
have it
they- no,
written
they
down in
mentioned
the next
an-
episode.
They mentioned another name.
and who is Saul Gerrera?
Did you Rogue One? He's Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
when that guy is
deception.
sleeping, when that kid is sleeping, the guy from the Bear mentions like 3 different.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not
Rebellion
this
guys.
episode.
No, yeah.
Which is a very Che Guevara name, which
Yeah,
makes sense
yeah.
for rebellion.
But so I think his because these guys are doing they're kind of terrorists more than anything. Like we're just gonna fuck up the Empire. We're gonna hit him where it hurts, and we're definitely gonna hit innocent people. But you should have been living in Empire space.
Yeah.
Is their mentality.
That's what I remember from Rogue One the most. Is
And-
like Saw Gerrera just being like, "That's their problem."
Yep. And Luthen is more like, no. What you're doing hurts them, but not enough.
Yeah.
You're chipping away at a fucking huge boulder. We need to get inside that boulder. We got to do this like Armageddon.
Yeah. You're like a mouse fighting a bull, and you just keep biting its feet.
It's annoyed. It's
We need a
annoyed at
wave
you.
of mice
Yep,
to crush this
exactly.
bull.
To climb
it's a
up its
terrible
butt.
metaphor,
a
but
wave of mice climbing up this bull's anus and taking it out from the inside. Perfect analogy, dude. The rebellion is a bunch of mice in the anus of the Empire.
I just started thinking about Magic the Gathering and like how you could take down big creatures with a wave of rats.
Fuck
and that's-
yeah.
I don't know.
Fuck
Nothing
yeah.
to do with this, but
Yeah, space magic. Bunch of hokey religion.
he does mention that what happened to Andor's father. I'm assuming he means Clem.
Clem, he
not
definitely
his,
does.
birth father.
Yeah.
That they hung him in the town square up on Rick's
Because he
Road.
mentions, he's like, dude, don't you want that star thing? He's like, well, if I get caught with it, they'll hang me. Like they must, or he says to him, if they catch you with it, they'll hang you. He's like, yeah, right on Rick's Road, where they've done it before, like your father Clem.
And this is when Andor pulls out his gun and he's like, listen here, motherfucker. And the rest of this conversation happens with a barrel pressed against Stellan
Yeah.
Skarsgård's face and no reaction at all from him other
He
than
is
utter
fucking
calmness.
Stone cold stellar. I do love Andor's gun, by the way. It is just fucking. I had to look it up because it's not something I'm familiar with, and it doesn't even matter what it is. But it was Clem's. We know that much, and it has two. What do they call it? Two of the cartridges in there, so when it overheats, they can cycle it. And you see it a couple times when he has it pressed up against somebody's head. You'll see the inside cycle. Like it's a really cool effect.
I saw that happen. I was just like, it's like reloading, except for it's always there.
It's changing.
So it's
changing the cartridge because I guess these are cartridges that, much like the first Mass Effect, there's no ammunition. It's just cooldowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most Star Wars games have a cooldown function, but this is able to have two clips simultaneously.
So he can just fire a lot more than a normal. That's why it's such a bulky frame on such a tiny.
It's the banana
grip.
battery.
Okay.
It's the everlasting banana battery.
Luthen starts talking about, like, I didn't necessarily come here for the Star Path. Like, I came here for something more.
I'll leave with it.
Yeah, if that's all I can get, great. But I want to take you. And Cassian's like, dude, this has happened before. Only now I can understand English.
Yeah.
And I'm really not 100% on board with this. But they get surrounded by these fucking corpo dudes who are waiting for the reinforcements from the fat guy and the skinny guy.
Yeah.
Your traditional like
Laurel
villains
and
and like
Laurel and Hardy are on their way right now.
your traditional like fairy tale villains.
Hey,
right?
who's covering the East Wing? Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Who's covering the East Wing? No, I'm telling you. Who's covering the East?
Who's on the north?
Oh, he does have the good line right before they come in. It's when he's just like, "Don't you want to fight these bastards for real?" And it's like the way it's a good line. It's fine, but the way he delivers it is just like, "Whoo."
Everybody.
I feel like Oprah. I feel like Whoopi Goldberg in Lion King.
Ooh. Say it again. Fight them for real. Ooh.
Oprah Winfrey in Lion King.
Oh God.
And you get the savannah, and you get the savannah.
Everyone, look under your pride rock, and you get a hyena, and you get a hyena.
Meanwhile, while they're coming to surround this, our main guys are on the way. These dudes start banging on random metal shit.
Oh, yeah.
Streets.
It's kind of not Morse code, but it's rhythmic.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was Morse code, but it's like this dun dun dun, dun dun dun.
And it kind of
Dun,
changes
dun,
up the more people join in because it becomes like this cacophony that's kind of just all over the city. And this is another point where Mosk, you can see him getting ready to go full fucking shoot some innocence mode.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's just like, oh, it's bluff and bluster. They're just trying to intimidate us. And
Well,
it's like,
speaking of
this
shoot
is
innocence,
clearly
somebody
code.
catches Bix running away. Speaking of being conspicuous,
Yeah.
like she could have easily just been like, oh,
Well-
do, but she turns around, is like, I'm bolting.
Okay, sure. But this part kind of bothered me because she returns the corner, sees these guys that are the North team, I guess. And she's like, she sees them. She turns around the other direction. They're like, hey, girl, stop. Well, while that's going on, there are people running in every direction around them.
Yeah.
So why is he like,
Because she's
You
pretty
look
and she
like-
looks scared.
yeah, I guess because there are literally people running away from them in the
Uh-huh.
background while he's beating her up. Like,
But I don't think anybody stalled them and turned around. Everybody kept running. She's
but they're
the
all
only
clearly
one
running from them. At least that's what they would
She's
think.
the only one that like stopped and turned.
Yeah.
But either way, they get her. She's trying to get away. Fucking dude smacks her up, handcuffs her, and then Tim notices.
Timoma shows up and he's just like, why is she bleeding? What are you doing? And they're like, you need to stop her. We're going to shoot you.
So happy that he's out.
I turned in her friend.
But I do like they're clearly not supposed to go that far.
Yeah.
Because when he comes running up, this dude with the rifle shoots him, and then he just sits there looking like, oh fuck, I just killed a dude.
Yep.
Whoopsie.
And the black dude takes. He's like, get the fuck back to that pod right now.
Yeah.
And I
Hover
like
in the
that 'cause
goddamn
it
air.
just plays into more, modern day, whether it be military, whether it be law enforcement. It just
Yeah.
reminds you of more
Well,
modern day stories.
You're
So
now
makes
Yeah.
it realer.
Whether it
for
be
this
American or not,
story.
they're talking about like fascism in the streets and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bix is
How easy that
already
is.
not a fan of the Empire as anybody on this planet, clearly. Now she's more
motivated?
radicalized
Yeah,
against them
radicalized.
because she just wasn't a
word.
fan and she did her smuggling and went about her life. Now she has a reason to be radicalized because she watched them gun this dude down in the street for doing nothing other
Hit
than
her,
being
hit
like,
her a little bit, chain her up, and then kill your lover boyfriend
yeah,
guy.
and he did nothing other than be like, why are you beating up my girlfriend?
Uh-huh.
I mean, he was running at them, but like,
I was walking briskly.
well, it's a staircase. You can't run too fast. You'll fall.
That's me and you, not this guy.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the staircase, I watched some behind the scenes stuff. This is not a full like this isn't the volume. This isn't all CG.
This is a set.
They built this city on rock and roll.
Yeah.
No, they built
On
this
jizz.
city on jizz
Jizz.
and wait. Jizz,
Jizz
and
is the
nog.
music, the band, the musicians in Mos Eisley. The visual dictionary is called jizz musicians.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
I
terrible.
forgot.
But it's with a G, so it's not the semen. It is.
But still,
It's semen music.
it's space semen.
But
Floats.
they built this whole like city with the streets and the stairways and like
Yeah.
Diego Luna was talking about it. He's like, these doors go into buildings, these stairways lead to things, and you could see in some of the stuff at like the top of the stairway it's green because then like obviously the planet they're in the middle of, I can't remember where they built it, but they're in the middle of a bunch of other shit.
Sure. It looks great.
But they built all of this stuff. I mean, they were doing like shots in this like feature of like the buildings, like all the bricks and stuff, like close-up shots, and all this stuff looks real. I mean, it's probably
Yeah.
not built out of bricks,
no, but
But it
it's
looks
built.
but
good,
it
yeah.
looks good. It looks like bricks. It looks real. Like it's
Way
it's
cooler
awesome.
than CGing everything. That's
yeah.
for
Well,
damn
and that's
sure.
what the Toby Haynes was saying is really good because like if you want to follow a character through some archways down a street, you're not just thinking about what it's going to look like later. You're following them with a camera through the archways down
And
the
you
street.
can have them do a longer shot maybe instead of like, all right, you can only walk 10 feet and we have to reset. And
Yeah.
you're going to walk in a different area on screen.
Yeah, suffering from the Phantom Menace problem.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like,
Or like what I imagine they probably do. I've never seen it, but it makes sense. Like, okay, here's a green screen. Here's a green treadmill. Start walking.
Uh-huh. That would be boring.
Yeah, but this so it's that's really cool. But anyway,
there were parts of it that reminded me of like Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland.
Uh-huh.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It had that very visceral, fucking
yeah,
grimy.
it feels like Jack
mason
said. I
work
think Jack said
and-
last time it feels lived in.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. More so than a lot of the other ones we've seen.
Yeah,
You know, whether it be, and like you're saying, like Mando and the volume, that still looks good. That looks better
Yeah.
than a lot of the other things, but not better than this. You're never going to beat having a town. You're never going to beat that original fucking Tatooine
and
where
that's
you know.
And you have a
fucking-
real artist doing scuff marks on
Uh-huh.
this part, or
Oh,
you
one
know,
of your favorite
instead
things,
of
vintifying.
vintifying, man. You know,
and that's
they gotta have
easier-
blaster marks on these walls.
Make it
damn
look lived.
It's a lot easier to do in this kind of story because you're mostly like, I mean, it moves across different locations, but like for these 3 episodes, we're basically in this location.
Yeah.
This one city. I mean, we have a little bit on
like Main
Morlana
Street.
and stuff like that,
Oh,
Canary,
okay.
but it's
yeah.
mostly on Ferrix in this one city, so you can shoot all that. And then you go to Aldhani, which is just in the middle of nowhere, so that's easy.
Yeah, Aldhani is like, what, Scotland maybe?
Yeah, probably,
Yeah.
or wherever they shot the Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker stuff
Ireland,
for
yeah.
Oh, that's Ireland.
Ireland. It could be something like that. They do say Highlands, Lowlands, but either way,
Yeah. Well,
that,
that's
that
just,
part of the world. But like, you know, you can build a set and do that with whereas with the Mandalorian, you're not spending a lot of time in one place other than a couple of things. And so what they'll do is they'll build the set on the volume and then the
Uh-huh.
volume just fills in the blanks. But you're building a much smaller set. You're not building
the volume is still a great thing, but when you have the opportunity to build a city, you build that city.
Yeah, you're not
On
building
jizz music.
multiple blocks of one city. But yeah, so the corpos are at the warehouse. They're getting it surrounded. Stellan Skarsgård has 2 rules in this scene. One, he takes the comm link from Andor, and he's like, never carry anything you don't control. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, build your own exit on the way in. And he fucking blows these charges that are on this door and just wipes out 2 of
I
these
wanna go-
dudes.
I want to go back to their banter because he's like, you have 3 options of how you got that being the product. He's
Yeah.
like, you're a spy, or
You're pretending to be the
you're-
guy
you're
I'm
the
here to
fence.
meet.
Yeah.
or you're the real deal.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, you got one option. You have my money or you don't. And it's like, that's 2 options, though. Dude.
There's also another thing.
So
It's-
you have my money. That's the option.
Yeah, it was just, it's such a stupid reason for me to be.
Yeah, you have
even
one.
pay
You have
attention to it,
one
but
option.
You have
Here's
one
two.
yes or no.
I noticed that, and I kind of thought about it, and I was like, I think that might also be on purpose because Stellan Skarsgård is used to intimidating people and talking about this shit. Diego Luna's trying to sound cool, so he's like, "Well,
Okay.
you have one option. It's my money,
My face
or,
in your
or
butt.
not my money, I guess."
You've got one option: my left
But-
fist or my right fist.
Skarsgård does it at the beginning of the next episode. You've got 2 options, then he gives 3.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get there.
All right. So we just don't give a shit about numbers.
It's Star Wars. Numbers don't exist. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, they do because you have the slave one.
Math books don't exist. They don't have paper.
C-3PO.
Man, I'm sure there's old
R2,
references, but there
D2.
is so much more of minutes, hours, things that I would not have thought that they would be called in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
There's been a couple things
I
in the
think
series
it's for our
that
benefit only.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, because they're not even necessarily speaking English.
Okay.
They're speaking basic, which I think is just like, well, we're giving it to you guys because this is what the large portion of our audience are, at least when it was originally made, are speaking. So we're going to give it to you in English, but we're calling it basic because all the writing is not anything like English. Those letters, the anal bash. Arabash. I got you.
Dude, anal bash is the best alphabet.
The Arabash is not turning into English. You know what I mean? Like those letters are not being English letters. Like it's
funny. I don't know what just made me think of it, but there's a book that's called How Star Wars Took Over the Galaxy. And it talks about how, you're talking about basic. Star Wars is the first movie to be translated and then redubbed in Navajo.
Which one is?
Star Wars, New Hope.
New Hope? Nice.
Yeah, there's a book. I'll let you borrow it.
Damn, I want to watch that.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic.
Basically, Luthen blows up this door. These dudes get taken out. There's a couple left. They're in there trying to fight him. It's a whole great action scene.
They could have gotten away. They could have gotten away really quick. But Andor's obsessed with the star thing.
Well, because to him, that's his way out. So he's just like, if I don't have the star path, you're not going to give me money, and I'm stuck here.
Not only that, though, I think he just knows, like, it's a really rare piece. And Luthen is just like, we got bigger fish, dude. Yes, that is a big get for you. We got bigger things to worry
I guess
about.
it's just like, I can't trust you on your word that you're going to give me 200,000 credits, 100, whatever it be. Like, I need this fucking thing to, like you said, to get out.
Because, look, the ISB is because that's the
Imperial Security Bureau.
It's their version of the TLA, which is 3-letter acronym. FBI, CIA. So the FBI are.
Oh God, it totally is too. That guy is so obsessed with paperwork.
Dude, this is like, if this is our FBI or our CIA, they would send in somebody like, come with me. We got to get out of here. And it's totally them fucking setting you up. So of course he should be worried about it. Like, all right, if I go with this guy, I could get fucked over. If I stay here, I'm definitely getting fucked over. You got to take the maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to take the maybe.
Take the maybe, baby.
That's what I tell the ladies.
Dude, I do want to mention, so I've never really thought of, like, I've thought about it in the past, like when people have rifles and pistols and whatever, but it always looks the same. The blaster bolts that come out look the same.
Yeah.
The damage they seem to do, especially in the past, looks the same. Like when you see it hit a wall or whatever. But this guy, this corpo guy up in the rafters with this laser, this rifle, is the first time I noticed, like, it's got a heavier sound. And when they show it from his angle, especially, and he's shooting at Cassian, it's just like blowing up the ground as he's running away.
There are guns in the Star Wars universe that use ballistic kinetic kind of damage. It's not all energy. There are different types for sure. I'm blanking on one that would use something different. Well, okay, that fucking disruptor rifle that Mando has, the pitchfork looking thing.
Yeah.
That shoots different than anything else. I mean, that's not a great example because that's still energy.
Yeah.
But it's a different type.
But I just always...
Oh, the fucking Geonosians, the little bug people, they had that like that sound wave that went at you.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking obliterated your organs internally.
I just always, when it came to like the laser blaster pistols and blaster rifles, it always looked exactly the same. And I figured like, okay, rifle just get you better range because it's more accurate. It's got a scope, et cetera, et cetera. But like you can see the difference here. Like the bolts look longer that are coming out. And also it's just not blowing up dirt around this dude.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's only energy or like Jack said, that some of them are maybe a ballistic combo.
That's probably a combo, especially blowing up the dirt like that instead of just singeing ground. But it could just be a heavier thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like lightsabers. George Lucas just had one type in mind, or that's all he could do.
Yeah, I mean, the technology was we're going in and literally adding this onto the film
Don't
manually.
get too creative. We need to just make this as easy as possible.
Yeah. It was a cool different thing to see. Yeah. So we go back to Marva's house. These two dudes are watching her, and this banging is still going on, and they're just sitting there like, "What the fuck is happening?" She is just reveling in it. This is where we get the name of the episode because she's like, "Gets to you, doesn't it? That's the sound of a reckoning." He's like, "Well, you know what's really gonna fuck with you when it stops.
That's when you should really worry."
And they're just like, "Wait, but what happens when it stops?"
What happens when it stops, Mom? When the fucking rhythmic banging first started happening, Brazo walked away from everybody else to a different direction. We're gonna see why.
Yeah,
because I fucking love Brazo,
dude. Because so the Corpo guys are setting up. They decide we're not going to try to assault them anymore because now we know there's two of them, and we know they've already taken out our other team, basically. Yeah. So we're just gonna take positions here, and we're gonna get them when they come out. So they all go into hiding. Mosk is drinking this flask like an
First time
asshole.
we've seen a space flask, I think.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's our
There's
first.
two, but we get another
Oh wait,
space
was
flask
there
next
was there one
episode.
in Solo? Does fucking
Some of them
Lando
seem
Lando
water.
might have?
I don't know. It seems like Lando would have a space
Lando
flask.
seems like he'd have a flask of nog.
Some of them seem like futuristic too. Like
yeah.
it's
Like
chilling it or
yeah,
something.
it's
you know what I
not-
mean?
it's
Some
not
of them
fucking
see.
bet, dude. You
Some of them
bet.
see a little seem a little electronic, which
well,
is dope.
fucking Luthen calls his med nog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
Yes.
he's got like a little bit of fucking
Just
medicinal
healing. Yeah.
Bacta in there.
This is your
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, it's
Baron
just,
Jaeger.
it's-
This is your
Yeah.
fucking.
It's like, dude, Luthen's a Saint Bernard with a fucking barrel of nog around his neck. Go on, drink from me.
It's vodka with Xanax in it to help kill the pain.
And it might
Been
be
there.
the next episode, but we see someone like the chick, I forget her name, in the
Bix.
Resistance. No, the
Val.
Vel, yeah, right,
Vel or Val?
Yeah, Vel, I think. She has old school canteen though,
Oh,
because
yeah,
she's
yeah,
like
yeah.
more earth based.
Well,
Well,
there's-
that's
there's-
that
you're-
planet.
Yeah,
Aldhani.
yeah.
they're in undercover kind
yeah,
of.
yeah,
Yeah,
but she
they'd
doesn't
have
have
to.
anything fancy like that. She doesn't have more,
That is
a
next
square, a
episode, I
slant.
believe, and I want to get to that. How beaten down that is. I love it.
And nothing really happens when the banging stops other than that's the point, is that like the banging's been there and it's been getting to these guys and then it stops, and I think it just kind of sends everybody over the edge, which is just a really cool like piece of mental warfare, because these guys they're not gonna, I mean, if all these people teamed up, they could take these 12 or 14 dudes out
Oh yeah.
easy,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's not what they're doing, because they're not trying to draw more attention. They're just there to fuck with them,
Mhm.
which is great.
Now we get Luthen and Andor in a hangar, trying to pick which speeder they want.
Well, before that, he goes to he sneaks up on Karn.
oh, that's right, and that's
Karn
when you
is
see
hiding-
the barrel rotate. By
It's
the
kind
way,
of cool. I've never seen this either. Karn goes in and he doesn't shoot this door that won't open. He just bangs on it, but he opens it halfway and he's looking through it to take cover.
Yeah, I've never seen it be able to be jammed up like that. I guess.
And he fucking Andor comes up behind him holding the gun to his head to ask how many people there are. And I just love Luthen in the background. He's like, kill him.
yeah,
He's like, no,
dude,
tell me how
fucking
many
do
people
it.
there are. Tell me now. I'll kill him.
Oh. If you don't want to, I will. Dibs on killing
I
that
do
guy.
like the idea though that maybe you just press the button, it opens or closes, the up or the down,
Yeah.
But you hold it, and that's when it only opens this
You
much.
push
or
both at
closes
the
this
same
much.
time.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
it's a nice fucking day, dude. Keep that door open.
And then
Yeah.
also with the rhythmic banging, what I'm thinking about, and I think Jack might have kind of touched on it, was that maybe they're also communicating like, this is the path they're taking. Change it where they're walking. Fucking send this next signal.
I
This
think
is what's happening
It's not
next.
Morse, but it's communicating something.
Yeah.
And when it stops, maybe it's like, hey, they're all in position.
Yeah.
Like just so you're aware. Don't
The
like,
thing has
everyone
happened.
Stop. Yeah.
Either go somewhere or go find where it is.
They
Like,
know they're like in a picket line of shooting. Like, hey, let's all go inside
Yeah.
because we're gonna get shot.
I mean, because that's obviously the main purpose of this is like, hey, shit's going down, because everybody closes up shop.
Uh-huh.
They pull down their rolling shutters and fucking go home. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, we see them picking out their speeders. Fucking Andor is like, you got any more of those charges?
Yeah. How many more?
Meanwhile, the other dude who shot Timima gets back to his little pod and he takes off. And this thing is, thanks to Brasso, anchored to the fucking to a block of cement.
This happens before because this is why they do the picket line. Because yeah, anchored to a block of cement. Fantastic. He crashes, and when it explodes, everyone's like, "Wait, that means they're behind us."
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that's why he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just wait here for them to come through.
And I love the way it crashes because he's trying to fly and the alarm's going off and shit, and he's trying to figure out what's
and
going
he's almost
on.
successful at first.
And that thing
you
just
know?
hooks into that crane and just pulls him down.
Brazo for
Fucking
the fucking
awesome.
win.
Yeah, because when they decide to take cover, that's when Mosk says shit. Because he's like, oh shit, we're under siege. They're everywhere.
I didn't catch that really. Damn.
Yeah, it's real subtle. I mean,
And
he
it's the
mutters
first
it to himself.
Curse word in Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, besides like ass and bastard, which we've heard.
Dank
Okay.
Ferric,
At least in these newer things, we've heard ass and bastard. I
scruffy
don't-
looking nerf herder.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever said any of that.
Yeah,
in
and I
the
guess
original.
ass and bastard are
Carabas.
in normal English language.
For
it's not
normal
a-
people, it's cussing. For us, I'm like, they were cussing. I actually had to. I watched this episode twice.
Lucky.
It didn't catch the shit because it just rolls off me. The shit
Yeah.
rolls off me.
Shit rolls off me.
I actually had to Google it.
I'm surrounded by shit.
I had to Google it and find the clip of him saying shit, and I was like, "There it is."
That's too funny. And it's a big moment to curse in Star Wars, but
Yeah.
yet you did it so flawlessly. And like you said, we're just a bunch of fucking assholes that say shit all the time.
But yeah, like the fact that he's just like, we're under siege. They're everywhere. I'm like, it's still just 2 guys. Well, 3.
They're headed right for us.
Because Brazo helped out, but
Yeah, but now he's back in his house having a cold fucking nog on the rocks.
yeah.
I don't know how you drink nog.
One of the soldiers does go in and find Karn tied up, and that's when, like, right when he comes out is when the speeder bursts out. And I've probably seen it in the background, but we've never seen someone drive a speeder that looks like an old beat up Jeepers Creepers pickup truck.
Uh-huh.
But that's totally what this thing is.
You know what this is, dude? This is a golf cart. This is a space golf cart. We're like, look, I don't need a speeder to get out of town, but I don't want to walk around town.
Well, I think it's just for hauling shit. It looks like a little. It looks like
people.
a fucking Ford Ranger or something. It's like a small pickup.
No, I like the Jeepers Creepers truck better.
But it's like if the Jeepers Creepers was
it's
driving a small pickup.
I think it's the first time we've seen something covered that's this small.
Yeah.
And that's for a reason. We
Yeah.
want to make sure that they don't see
Exactly.
I didn't get a real good look at it till it.
It's a 2-seater
Yeah.
fucking side by side.
Yeah.
You know.
So a very small pickup truck.
Yeah.
And they blow
or
this
those
shit up.
little fucking side by sides that everyone takes hunting.
Little
They take the
Polaris.
speeder
Yeah,
out.
thank you.
They're like celebrating, like, yeah, we got him. And then these fucking Cassian and Luthen come zooming out from the other direction and take off.
Why not blow it up and then take off?
I think the idea is you got guys going around the truck to look for them. The idea is to pull the attention away, maybe.
But I'm saying if you blew it up, like the only reason everyone notices them is because they hear that speeder zooming by. If you hit explosion and then throttle,
do it, yeah.
maybe you get away. And then
Well,
instead
they
of
do
running,
drive
everyone's like,
past-
well, they're dead.
They do drive past a couple of the Corpo guys.
Oh, valid
So-
point. You're going to be noticed anyway.
But yeah, they take off and they trigger the charges and blow this thing up and take out 2 more security guys, or at least they mentioned later that 4 are dead, but I think I saw at least 5 die. Unless that one guy who got shot in the warehouse didn't die. He just got shot.
Maybe not, because they say 4 dead and 1 was Tim.
Well, they say 5 dead total.
Oh,
1
5 dead.
civilian, 4 corpos.
Okay.
And 2 of them got blown up by the charges on the door.
Maybe
and 2
they
of them
just
were
didn't-
laying on the ground outside this truck.
Maybe he was just concussed.
Yeah. But yeah, they take off.
And they live happily ever after.
And this is where we get
Nothing bad happens again.
the thematic tie together of the flashbacks in this, because it's Marva taking Casa to the ship. They're driving off on the speeder and Ferrix to Luthen's ship. And I do want to mention, going over this farmland, it looks like real farmland in America, where it's like the squares of land. I mean, there's some different shapes, I guess, because it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
So you do shit in circles or whatever.
Can't just do squares.
But I like that they're just going over all this shit. You got water flying up because there's like the cranberry bog next to the corn, next to
Yeah,
like,
it's definitely different colors,
Yeah.
different chemicals, different fertilizers, all that shit.
it's a
kinda
really
interesting
cool
looking.
shot. I mean, we've seen some stuff, even in the more recent stuff, where they're on. It's people on speeders going through an all CG area, and it looks awful. This looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
that looked cool.
But yeah, they take off. Marva's at the same time as taking Casa to the ship, and then they get to the end where like they're getting on Luthen's ship and leaving, and it's Marva leaving on her ship. It's all kind of like the synchronicity of the 2 things happening. Both times being taken by someone who he has no idea what's going on, and he's about to go have an adventure he didn't know he was going to have.
Should be fun.
And Karn, by the way, is totally fucking like shell shocked through all this, because he's just like, he's looking at all the destruction and going, well,
I am fucked.
should have listened to that guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Because
He's,
now I have
he's
to
kicking
answer
me
to
through the sky door,
I'm gonna have
dude.
to answer to another guy from Game of Thrones coming up.
2 people from Game of Thrones in the next episode.
Ooh, I know one for sure.
Yeah.
I can't think of the other one. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Moments away.
Yep, but that's it. I do like Luthen's ship. Like you had mentioned, I think on a previous, maybe it wasn't on Andor, maybe it was on something else. Oh, it was when we were talking about Obi-Wan. You mentioned Luthen's ship has like lightsaber blades coming out.
Yeah.
We don't see that, but his ship is fucking cool. And
It's
we
a
find out it's like
Hallcraft.
just a hauler.
Yeah.
But like the way like
Well-
they're going up to it, I mean he's got it modified, but like when they're going up to it and like the wings come out and like kind of lift up and like the jet engines kind of come down, whatever, it looks fucking cool.
It's badass, and he has his regular robot.
Yeah.
Like
he's
he's got that whole robot in there, but
yeah, and he's got a hyperdrive.
it's a Fondor.
Back to
yeah,
that.
I've got it in the
Condor.
next episode.
Back to that last scene too of the overzealous corpo guy who looks like fucking Gabe from The Office.
Karn.
He is really shell shocked, like you said, and he's just unable. I like the other dude, the Scotsman, just like, we gotta get out of here, just delivering a fucking great line.
Because he's been
great
there.
acting. Yeah, he's been in the shit.
He's been in the shit.
Whereas you have an officer who's just never been there, doesn't know how to operate, but just his inability to make a decision, do anything. That was fucking cool.
Yeah,
that was really
He probably
cool.
in his mind was like, dude, this is my first operation. We got to go pick a dude up from some backwater planet. I have way too many men. This is going to be a breeze. This is going to be, oh, wait, how many? We've killed somebody and lost 4 men?
Yeah.
Fuck. My first mission was not
and
good.
just had a huge, it's going to be all over the newspapers, whatever.
Well, not
of
paper.
newspapers.
It'll be all over the HoloNet.
Yes,
The
all over
HoloNet.
the HoloNet.
Walter Cronkite here, reporting on the HoloNet. Today, a bunch of Scotsmen got blown up.
Good skies and good luck. But that's the end of Reckoning, episode 3 of Andor. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about episode 4, Aldhani.
We're Aldhani here.
Do you like bad movies?
Are you worse people?
Are you an unqualified asshole?
Have
we got a podcast for you.
Come join us as we drink beer and talk shit about bad movies, good movies, just movies in general, really.
One of us.
One of us.
Google gobble. We've done full months on Michael Bay. We do superhero movies. We do old movies, new movies, fucking whatever.
Starting to sound like Cheech when he's in Dusk Till Dawn. We got good movies. We got bad movies. We got kids movies. We got action movies.
We do.
We got it all.
We do have it
You may
all.
not like it all because I guarantee you we didn't.
We have great impersonations. We have bad impersonations.
I mean, look, you like getting a couple beers in you, watching a bad movie, and yucking it up with your friends. That's what we're doing. We have microphones.
You know what? I've got a celebrity endorsement right here. Hey, what do you think about Bad Movies, Worst People? I think it might be one of the best podcasts I've ever heard.
Well, my friend Sly Stone is right when it comes to all the things he's saying about the podcast. There's a sample.
Yes.
So remember to check us out, badmoviesworstpeople.com, anywhere you get podcasts. Follow us on social media. Make sure that you check this shit out.
If you don't follow us, we will follow you home.
'Cause I'll find you.
Welcome back for episode 4 of Andor, Aldhani. This one came out the next week. This is September 28th, 2022.
Now
so
we had
now
to
we're on the
wait.
weeks. Yeah.
Bummer. So the music that you played to transition is a perfect intro for Andor because
Yeah.
it's not a real song. It's all building,
Yeah.
which is what this
Well,
show
and
is.
it changes. I don't know if you've noticed. Each
Oh.
one is slightly
Oh, yeah.
different.
So it's adding to
I
it.
think it's getting
much
more
like they
intense.
add to the rebellion. It's a perfect show.
Because if you go back and listen to the last episode, it's a lot more mellow. It doesn't have the drums so much. It's the same kind of like build,
Yeah.
but then this one has the drums and stuff, and it's building up. And I don't know if it builds up all the way through the show, but I've noticed so far, each of the 4 episodes, the music's a little bit more each time.
Yeah.
So,
That's a really cool fucking thing.
yeah.
Because that's what we're doing. We're watching Luthen build.
Yeah.
You know, it might be called Andor, but it's a Luthen show right now.
Yeah, I mean, because it's about how Cassian Andor got from this kind of self-centered guy that you don't want to see coming your way because you know he's going to ask for money
He was a street level punk to
Yeah.
the Empire.
to
A
like
thorn in the side if at even noticed.
to the like hero that he is in Rogue One.
The downfall.
Yeah.
Like he is the downfall of the Empire in a domino fashion.
Yeah. So this episode was directed by someone different, a woman named Susanna White, who directed some other stuff. She's done a lot of TV. She did one of the movies I noticed. The only one I'd heard of was Nanny McPhee Returns.
Yeah, I think
Never-
my daughter
obviously-
likes that.
I was gonna say I never saw it. I figured Ryan might know something.
Yeah, I think my
about
daughter
Yeah.
watches that one.
You got more info than we do, buddy.
But she also directed some episodes of The Deuce, which was a HBO James Franco show.
Yeah, him playing twin brothers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she directed.
Are they both pieces of shit?
Yeah,
Just-
Maggie Gyllenhaal is not a piece. Well, she is a piece of shit as a character.
I mean, as a person, though.
She directed some episodes of
You see her
Boardwalk
boobs.
Empire.
Ooh, yeah.
Babies.
I know you like it.
They're not great.
Still took a look.
I looked at them. I liked them.
But yeah, she directed some Boardwalk Empire
Oh,
and
cool.
Generation Kill. So a lot of HBO stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was written by Dan Gilroy, which might sound familiar.
Oh,
because Tony Gilroy wrote those first three. Dan Gilroy
Husbands?
is his brother.
Oh, close.
Yeah.
Sister husbands.
Sister husbands?
Uh,
That's not how that works.
it looks like they worked together a lot because he helped with Born Legacy. He wrote Nightcrawler, which is a really cool
Jake
Jake
Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal movie. Speaking of Gyllenhaals, and he wrote Kong Skull Island. He also wrote a movie called Free Jack
With Emilio Estevez?
Yeah, I was gonna say don't change the dial on that one for our other show
Yeah.
because Free Jack. I had to write down the summary, even though
The
it has
summary,
nothing to do with Star
I've never
Wars.
seen this, but the summary is whack.
I've seen it. It's insane. Bounty hunters from the future transport a doomed race car driver to New York City in 2009, where his mind will be replaced with that of a dead billionaire.
Wow.
It stars Emilio Estevez, Anthony Hopkins, Renee Russo, Mick Jagger, and Jonathan
Holy
Banks is
shit.
floating around
What
in there.
year is this?
Damn.
I didn't catch it's the 90s, late 90s.
God. Wish it was the 80s with that cast. Damn.
But yeah, so we're in Luthen's ship in space. He's got a secret hyperdrive.
What did we say it was?
It is
Hodor?
a...
I know it's not a Hodor. Foden?
Oh, I thought I wrote it down. I guess I didn't.
It's a Hallcraft. Fondor.
Fondor Hallcraft.
So
sounds
Fondor
right.
is one of the places. It's a shipyard planet. One of the top 3 in the entire galaxy. They are partially responsible for the Super Star Destroyer. The one
Okay,
that
hold on.
Vader
So
had.
we've got Corellia
That's the first one.
and
I'm blanking on the.
there's
Corellia
if it's the
is Han
same
Solo's
as
planet?
God, if it's
Yeah.
the same as the High Republic books, there was a race of like weird little bug alien people who built great ships, and I keep wanting to say Coruscant. Obviously, that's not it.
Wouldn't be Coruscant.
It's something with a C.
Not Corellia.
Cybertron.
Cybertron for sure.
Has to
Cybertron
be
They built
it.
makes-
ships that turn into people. Where's
No,
the pilot? I'm the pilot. Empire, roll out.
But Andor does mention he's like, what the fuck's powering this thing? Because I've driven these before or flown these before, and they don't do that.
Do you know? I don't think we find out what it is, but I have an idea.
What?
Kyber crystals.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, it's a technology that Andor would have no clue about, and we see that kyber crystals can at least be used to make super weapons besides just lightsabers. That's what gets the Death Star its Death Star capabilities. So I have a feeling that it is that
The other one, by the way, is Cyclor.
Cyclor.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Cybertron's close, dude.
I had to Google it real quick because I was like, this is bothering me, and it's
Yeah.
going to bother me the whole episode.
So it's up there with those two as like the top shipyard and built. You know the Super Star Destroyer that was Vader's, right? You know what I'm talking about from Episode 6. It's just, I mean, it's a massive Star
it's
Destroyer.
bigger than the typical.
Yeah.
But Luthen is telling Andor about he's going to take him to Aldhani. He's like, what's Aldhani? He's like, well, that depends on you. I'm like, that's not an answer. But
Yeah.
Luthen doesn't give a lot of answers.
No, he can't. He's in the industry of spies and he is the cloak and the dagger.
I love he's like, you're bleeding on my floor. Fix your fucking arm.
Yeah.
You know why? It's leaving DNA mess. Now he can fucking tie it in that you were on my ship. Droid, clean my ship.
I've never heard of DNA evidence in Star Wars. Dude, I want a procedural cop show about Star Wars.
Yes.
God, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the leader of the Corpos,
It's
he
got-
could like.
Sorry, it's got Nathan Fillion, but it's not called the Rookie. It's called the Wookiee.
He's just
He's
walking
new to
around
the police force. Read him his rights. All right, we got to get a new partner, man. This Wookiee is killing me.
It's just Jake and the Fat Man, but Jake is spelt with 2 Ks.
Jake, I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm almost 900.
Tune in next week for TJ Spacer. But yeah, he gives him the Med Nog, which we mentioned, which is just vodka with Xanax, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And
I was just thinking about MacGyver, McClunker. McClunker.
I could put anything together. Oh, no, it's a thermal detonator.
this is when Luthen tells him what I talked about last time. He's like, you've got 2 options. Either I drop you and you start running, or you go with me and do something important. Or or you could try to kill me and take my ship.
I think as he feels him, he's like, you know what? There's a third option because I know you get that knife in your boot. I see you looking.
I guess
at
that's fair. He's like, you have two options. And he looks at him and he goes, maybe you've got three.
I think that also means that last one's not an option. Trying to kill me and taking my ship, not a fucking option.
Which we see is not an option when they get to Aldhani.
Yeah, because even if you killed him, which you're not going to, but even if you did, ship's not going to listen.
Yeah, because when they're on Aldhani, just talk about it real quick. He's sitting there kind of eyeing the controls, like I could just fucking leave.
What
when he's waiting on the ship,
taking off right now,
and that little droid that's built in kind of looks at him and is like, something I can help you with.
Yep.
And he's like,
this is kind of I guess akin to Solo. Where what's her name?
L337.
L3 gets put into the ship. This is on purpose, though. This isn't to save a droid's life, as it were.
Yeah.
This is a security mechanism.
And it also helps him because we see when he lands on Coruscant, he's just like, hey, do landing shit. And it's like, cool, gotcha.
Number 37, which means like land here, do this.
And
do
it
that.
calculates hyperspace for him and all that. So he doesn't need a co-pilot. He's got the ship.
He doesn't have a Wookiee with him. He works alone.
He does mention here, so we talked a little bit earlier about like the other groups. So he's like, he's like, what do you think I am, or something like that. He's like, I don't know, Alliance, SEP, which I'm assuming is separatist, guerrilla, partisan front. And he's like, yeah, but aren't they all the same thing? And he's like, yeah. And so we agree on something.
Yep.
And Andor's like, no, I think they're all fucking stupid, and I think this is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, he's just been in survival mode since he's been alive. You know,
and he mentions he fought on Mimban at 16, which is the battle that we see in Solo.
Yeah.
And apparently everybody except for 50 people died. That World War I trench battle.
So Han was right to fucking take off.
Yeah. And it turns out in the end, like, who are we fighting? Ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, because Luthen says it right here. He's like, dude, like I think the Empire is making us fight ourselves. He's like, they most definitely were. They're pulling the strings for everything. That should make you more mad at them. Because I think he's one of the few people that kind of gets it. Like, dude, Palpatine did all this, and that's why he's still in fucking power. And I can't say anything about it.
Andor gives this whole speech about like, we were fighting for this and we fought for that, and only 50 of us survived. And then Luthen's like, calm the fuck down.
You got there months after it was almost like when it was about to wrap up. You were a cook and you survived because you ran away.
Yeah, and he looks super ashamed of that, but he's also like, look, that's me. I got to live.
He gives him a Kyber crystal as a down payment, and he says what it is. Like it's
a blue Kyber crystal that
sky
was
blue, or blue sky, and it's to signify the Rakatan resistance. So this is the first in-canon reference we have to the Rakata Empire. Not ricotta like ricotta.
I was like, so
cheese.
they just were really good at making lasagna.
Ricotta. No,
they're
these
space
guys,
Italians.
So you know what? They were conquerors. These guys, they called themselves the Infinite Empire, and they were in Legends responsible for pretty much like gods. To like they were an alien race, but they were like gods. They're the reasons that the Tatooine is not a sea planet. It's supposed to be water.
So what happened?
They scorched it. They evaporated all the fucking water. They glassed it. So there's shit under Tatooine, which is why you have like trees and things that grow up. And the Jawa, and again, this is all Legends. Jawas and Tusken Raiders are of the same race, but the Rakatan split them a little bit and made the Jawas go cave dwelling. The Tusken Raiders wrap up and yada yada.
Okay,
they are responsible for creating at least the humanoids, at least the Twi'leks. Like they were a dark side of the Force using race until the Force cut them off completely.
Like the Protheans from Mass Effect.
Yeah. How did they turn Tatooine into Yuma? Like how did they do that?
They nuked it. They had a super weapon. Do you remember playing Knights of the Old Republic, the first one?
Mm-hmm.
They're in that, and they're that whole.
Oh, are they? Okay, I'll have to go back.
Idea of going to the end of the game is you finding the Starforge. That's them. They built that.
Okay.
So they just had super weapons and shit.
So it's kind of like what the Empire does with Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking nuke the shit out of it until it's uninhabitable.
Yep.
Until it becomes Mad Max.
Yeah, spaceships.
Mad
on
Max
sails.
with land pirate ships.
And you could
Love
just say, "Hey, nothing exists there anymore," and everyone believes you because of how it looks now.
Yeah,
They're like, sure, nothing's there anymore.
So I mean, I think there's rumors that they could touch on this, but Tatooine could come back as more habitable planet.
Okay. We're not gonna get any more High Republic stuff now because Disney's gonna be too afraid to take chances, or Old Republic. I mean, there's that movie Dawn of the Jedi movie,
That's
but
even pre-Old Republic.
but that might touch on it. But I mean, they're gonna be too afraid to take chances now because they took a chance with Acolyte and everybody cried about lesbians and
What is the time difference of Old Republic? Like 1,000.
Old Republic
2000?
is about 2,000 years before where we are now, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know how long
it's
that's
0
20.
BC. It's the year 0.
Yeah.
0 AD.
But this one that James Mangold is the Dawn of the Jedi one, or Dawn of the Force,
Dawn of the Jedi.
Dawn of the Jedi is going back to I think he said the first Force user,
Okay.
like before shit had names. So that's gonna be fucking wild.
And I don't know how long the High Republic era was, but I know Acolyte's 100 years before Episode 1, and then the books that I'm currently reading are 100 years before that.
Okay.
So these people have been fucking with shit for a long time.
Yeah.
But Luthen does kind of predict the end of Rogue One here, because he's like, look, no matter what you tell me or you tell yourself.
Oh shit, it's 25,000 years.
Oh, okay.
Old Republic is
So
25,000 years.
KOTOR?
Yeah.
But yeah, no matter what you tell me or tell yourself, you're ultimately going to die fighting these bastards. Do you want it to mean something, or do you want them to do you want to just chip off pieces of yourself until you're dead? It's basically what he says. And it's
His rah-rah speeches are great, dude.
yeah, because it's not like your Captain America, let's all rally rah-rah. It's like, dude, shit's fucked. It's going to keep being fucked.
We're gonna
You're
die.
probably fucked.
Yeah, we're going to die.
But do you want your being fucked to matter, or do you want it to just be nothing?
Yeah. Do you want to survive or do you want to live?
And this is when he straight up says,
I want to dance.
He straight up says, I came for you. I didn't come for any Starpath unit.
Yeah.
Like, I looked at your file, I saw who you were, and I think that you believe this shit, even if you think you don't.
Uh-huh.
Which is pretty cool.
I mean, he found somebody with the right motivation. He doesn't know it yet that he's motivated, but like this, the Empire is your crux.
Well, and I think that's why he sends him to this mission on Aldhani. It's not just that they need a pilot who's like got some balls, but he's like, he's going to go here. He's going to see these people fighting and dying for a cause. He's going to have a feeling of
What's this little
camaraderie.
Irish feller's name? Merrick?
No. Hold on. Nimic.
Luthen's being
Nimic.
a good coach. He's finding, even though, Cassian?
Cassian.
It was Cassian earlier.
Casa or Cassian.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't have the best prospects in the world, you're like, okay, I can see it in him. He
He
got
sees
it.
raw talent. I can mold you.
Yeah.
But what did you say? I did Nimitz?
Nimic.
Nimic is the one that has the I don't think we see it here, but he has like the, what do you call it, manifesto about what it is to fight the Empire. That's another reason I think he wanted Andor here, is like, dude, Nimic's gonna fucking
Nimic's
preach to you.
the one with like, he's the stars in his eyes idealist rebel.
Yeah.
These other 5 people that are
just
in this
jaded
crew
soldiers.
they're like, dude, I can't trust you. I can't trust anything. We've got a mission to do, and you're gonna fuck it. And like all that, and Nimic's the one who the whole time is like like I said, stars in his eyes, young, whatever. And I mean,
he's an idealist. I mean, he's writing
you even
fucking,
see Andor kind of rolling his eyes at some of the shit Nimic does, but I
because
think
he's unexperienced. Like, oh, you still have hope.
yeah.
You still have faith that and this is gonna work out. I've been chewed up.
But Luthen tells him, like, I got a job for you. It's 5 days, big stakes, big danger, 200,000 credits. Like, are you in or are you out? What are we doing? We're stealing the entire quarterly payroll for an Imperial sector. Which is another, like, I mean, we did see, oh, by the way, we didn't mention it last on episode 3, but we saw Luthen flash credits.
Yeah.
They're like credit cards. They're like little metal cards because
They're
hear
prepaid
them.
gift cards.
Yeah.
/
But he's got 4
what
of
did
them.
we call them last
and he
time?
needs,
Flash drives.
Yeah. He's got 4 of them. He needs 40,000 credits. So each of these is 10,000, presumably.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're all like different color coded and like that's, so it's hard currency that just is made out of metal, which seems very inconvenient to carry around.
Yeah.
It's like having coins in your pocket, except for it's a bunch
feel
of
like
credit
it's
cards.
reloadable though. That's the feel of it to me, but I can't tell.
I feel like
if
you could take
is
it to a
reloadable
bank.
or not.
Take that to a bank and be like, hey, look, reload that with another 10 grand, please.
Yeah, or maybe it's just a metal representation, and if you lose that physical thing, you're done. Yeah. That's it. I don't know. I can't tell.
So,
I'll do a deep dive on credits and see if I can come up with an episode about it.
and I like that we see in this episode, not necessarily here, but we see like kind of what you would call, I guess, street level Coruscant, even though there's no streets, and like the street level is probably really bad because I think you mentioned
no, the street level is the we've seen street level a couple. Well,
But I think you mentioned like way down low, it's fucked, right?
Yeah, the lower you go.
Yeah, where
So
will
I
we
guess
see street level Coruscant?
But we see like ships flying through archways, like on their little.
So I guess there is
paths
no
and,
street levels, correct? Because the core is lawless, where nobody will go down there except the worst of the worst villains.
And we saw stuff like that in KOTOR, the game.
I mean, there are thousands
to where
of levels.
under you just it's either monsters or the poorest people
I just
that
like
will
because
attack you.
we end up
or-
seeing Karn's like apartment, like where his mom lives, apartment building basically, and it's just like these endless apartments. You see ships flying through archways. You see like just because all we've seen of Coruscant up to this point is, I mean, even when the show came out, so all the other stuff included is mostly just like
landing platforms,
big buildings from a distance, lots of ships flying around.
But
We do
very
have the
high
landing
up.
platforms in the prequels and in Mandalorian.
We do get to see, not so much later in our watchings, but an episode of, I think it's Mando season 3, we see them walking around on the most top level of Coruscant. It might not be the tallest because there's buildings going up, but it's where you can walk.
Okay,
So I guess that would be if there's a street
the
level.
Sky Mall.
Yeah.
Hey,
But I just
Because
like
there's a part where it's the top peak of the mountain. It's the only part.
yeah,
of the,
yeah. We didn't see that. That was in the Thrawn.
No, you see it.
The newer Thrawn books, though. Do we see it?
You see it in Mando season 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just know they talk about it in I think it was the newer Thrawn trilogy by
Definitely.
Timothy Zahn.
Yeah.
They talk about like someone talks about going up and like they'll just go up and touch it to kind of like feel a connection with what used to be there.
Because you can't touch the Earth anywhere else.
Yeah,
By the way, 5,127 levels of Coruscant.
that's a lot.
And that top level is super tall because it's all fucking stories of a certain building.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot, dude.
Well, we see that. So it's the Imperial Security Bureau.
So he must be like a little bit upper class because they're in level like they're at least 100 or above.
Yeah, but it is still just like it's like I guess like upper class project buildings almost because it's like apartments.
it's very ghetto,
but it's very
apartments.
it's very like homogenous. But like a lot of Coruscant is, I guess.
Yeah.
No, it's showing that his mom has very little money. For
Yeah,
it.
that's kind of the vibe I got because that's why he did this. He went to do this thing because he wanted to make something better of himself than where he came from.
But
By
it
the way,
could be
I can't wait
worse.
to talk about his mom because I just saw her in a movie earlier today.
And is she terrifying?
She is fucking terrifying. She's
Yeah.
great. I've seen her in two things
I was gonna
recently.
say I know her.
But we'll get to her shortly. We're at the Imperial Security Bureau. So we have Major Partagaz, who's played by Anton Lesser,
He
who
is
was
in-
Qyburn or
Yeah.
Qyburn
Qyburn.
on Game of
was
Thrones. He's
Cersei's maester.
wizard guy.
Maester.
Oh,
He's the one that makes the Gollum dude out of the mountain. And
He was
like,
disgraced and
Oh,
like kicked out of the
yeah.
academy, and she got him as like her own personal dude. And
he was
kept,
kicked out for doing weird evil shit. And she's
yeah,
like,
like
that sounds
necro
great.
shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I could use that.
Yeah. So he's a menacing piece of shit in that. And this, he's just
Qyburn
kind of
or
a piece
Qyburn?
of shit.
I can't remember.
It's QY, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He was also in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Sure.
Yeah, he's one of them guys. But who cares? He was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it wasn't the first Pirates. I don't give a shit.
And then the other person who really matters here, and also who kind of has acting credits, is Dedra Miro, played by Denise Goff.
Everything's a little different, right? Like Deidre is what
well,
you would call
because
it.
it's
on our
DED,
planet.
so it's like, is it Dedra or Dedra?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Qyburn calls her Dedra.
Denise Goff, who like the main thing I recognized on her credits, she has
I don't
more
recognize
acting
her from
credits than most of
anything.
these people. I don't recognize her face. The main property I recognized was that she played Yennefer in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt video game.
okay.
So she did video game acting, voice acting. She's also done a bunch of like TV shows and stuff, but they weren't things. As with most of these actors,
She
they're
wasn't
British
Juno
actors.
Eclipse in Star Killer and Force Unleashed, was she? I don't think so.
I don't know. I kind of glanced through her stuff and I saw Wild Hunt and I was like, well, I know who Yennefer is because I played Wild Hunt and I watched that
Yeah.
show.
Was she playable, or did you always play just as
You were
Gerald?
always,
you were always Gerald.
yeah.
Yeah,
Gerald.
she's one of your party
okay, but
people.
one of your
yeah.
main party.
Yeah.
You could frick her.
Okay.
But this council is basically just, it's a bunch of fucking bureaucrats, right? Because they're talking about the stuff that they're doing, and all Qyburn keeps going back to is like, but did you do your paperwork?
Yeah.
But where's your quarterly report?
And I love he
where's
says,
this? There, you know.
what is our job? And then fucking Dedra, of course, is like, well, by the book, perfect definition. We're here to do this and this. And he's like, oh, perfect. Wrong, but perfect. We are a healthcare center for the Empire, obviously.
Yeah.
We look for disease and sickness, and we cut it out. We get rid of germs. We get rid of disgusting little sick uprisings.
And the longer it takes to identify the disease, the harder it is to get rid of. So quit fucking around.
But don't jump to any conclusions, goddammit. We need hard evidence. But also, get to the root of it before it even happens.
Also, hurry up.
Yeah.
But also, I think it kind of shows a bit of like why it was so easy. Easy is not the right word. Why the rebellion was able to win. All these, besides the main guy, all these people are trying to like jibe for each other's, jibe for his attention and fight each other for sectors. So I mean, yeah, you got infighting. So the rebellion just didn't do that.
And the other person who kind of counts from this that we see, at least in this episode more than once, is Blevin, who I didn't get the actor's name because I looked at his credits and was like,
yeah.
Like most of these people, again, like I said, a bunch of British actors he might have been in Doctor Who. He was probably in,
could have been in Peaky Blinders,
all that shit. Like, but he's, Ferrix, Morlana, that whole area falls under his jurisdiction. And she's trying to get in there because they talk about this missing NS9 Starpath unit. And she's like, that sounds familiar.
That's from my sector.
Steer Guard is her sector. And she's like, dude, shit's been getting stolen from there. I think it's leading to a rebellion. And Blevin's just kind of like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Career hopper. Like,
he says at one point, he's like, you just got here. Before you try and look up, you might want to secure your ladder.
Yeah. Secure the ladder before you try to climb it.
Yeah. Meaning just, stay in your lane, bitch.
And maybe it's later, but the head dude is like, yeah, he's in charge of 6 sectors. You've got 1 or 2.
Yeah,
like,
2.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just go over that real quick because it's that. And then on Morlana, he goes to Morlana. Blevin does. It dresses down the ISB guys, including the guy from Game of Thrones.
I don't think he just dressed them. I think they're all fired.
Well, they're all fired. But he's given them a good talking to.
Yeah.
And basically, he's like, dude, now this is under control of Imperial security because you're all fuck ups. You don't even get to go home. Anything that from your personal belongings that we've had time to scan and catalog, you can take with you, but you're going straight to the shipyard and getting the fuck out of here. And I love the head guy whose name I've forgotten now, but he's like, I didn't have anything to do with this. And he's like, yeah, that's the fucking problem.
And you got fucking Mosk, is that his name?
Yeah.
Raising his hand.
Dude, I love that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Because the lead guy speaks up and he's like, no, shut up. And then Mosk, gives that little hand raise. Like, I've got something to say. And he's like, seriously?
You got to be joking.
Seriously, right now? No.
That's by the book, sir. I was drinking my flask and pointing my gun at people. What's the problem there?
He even tells them, like, and no, before you ask, you don't get to read the reports. You get to go home. Like, you're all fired. We're in charge now.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's like the part with Miro investigating the missing equipment, and she tells like one of her guys to go ask Blevin for the reports. He says no. She goes and asks him, and he's like, for the second time, no. And that's kind of that whole thing for that part of the storyline.
Yeah, for the backstabbing, politicking kind of part of it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some stuff with Luthen and Mon Mothma, but we'll get to that.
Oh, I can't wait. I got notes about that room.
So on Aldhani, they arrive. He's like, hey, think of a name for yourself. And without hesitation, Clem, because dad.
I've actually never known any other names. I know my mom, my dad. Marva, is that a good name for a guy?
Think of a name for yourself. Timama. Damn it.
Bix.
We meet Vel Sartha, who's played by Faye Marseille, who was also
Which
in Game
one's
of
the
Thrones.
Star Wars name?
Yeah, exactly.
Vel Sartha is the Star Wars name. Faye Marseille is the real name.
Okay.
She was in Game of Thrones. Her character was called the Waif. She's the one from the many-faced gods thing that like recruits or goes with Arya and like kind of leads her around. She's the young like blonde girl and that. That's kind of her like her rival, but also her helper.
Yeah.
Like obviously not the dude that's in charge.
No, the one she's like hitting her and stuff.
Yeah, the one
let's
that's
play
training
a
her.
game.
Yeah. So that's.
Would you like to play a game?
That's the other Game of Thrones actor.
Would you like to play a Game of Thrones?
Would you like to play a many-faced game? But Luthen's like, look, I'm going to go talk to her real quick because she's coming up to the ship. He's like, she's going to be pissed that you're here. So just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Even though that's the way he presents it to Cassian. But when he goes out there, she starts pitching a fit. And he's like, you know what? You've got 2 options. He likes this. Either.
I don't know if you know this. I'm an option guy.
Either you take him or we shut down the entire operation because I was about to do that anyway. Because you guys are outmanned, outgunned, outclassed. This might not work.
I mean, we find out it's a 40 troop garrison.
Yeah,
plus
they
there's
don't
an
think
airfield.
I don't think they say how many in this part.
No, but we're coming up later.
Okay.
In this episode.
Oh, do they say it in this episode?
Yeah, in this
Okay.
episode,
they
they
did.
talk about 40 troop garrison, and because we see when Clem now when he's walking up, like there's patrols of TIE fighters, and
Yeah.
she even says like they have nothing better to do but patrol this area, so
Yeah.
we have to lay low. When they come by, we fucking duck. It's also why they had to walk so far from Luthen's ship.
Yeah, he's like, if there's any problems, we call it off. And she's like, what if he's the problem? And he's like, well, that's the good thing about paying him. He's disposable.
Yep.
So she's mad that he's a mercenary. He's being paid because they're all people who give a shit about the
Idealists.
rebellion.
But it is surprising that like he's not dropping any credits on this whole rebel group, but he's gonna drop 200 grand on this.
I mean, I think he's dropped some
Like,
credits on him.
He's
has.
funding
yeah.
the mission, but
But-
they're not each getting paid 200 grand to be
Yeah,
there.
but they're like, we're eating roots right now.
yeah, we're sleeping on
and
rocks.
you are paying this guy hardcore mercenary money.
Yeah. Then she does mention to him while they're doing this walk, which is an overnight walk. They mention, which fuck that.
Oof.
She's
I don't
like,
know, it looks nice though.
yeah. When she's like, when we get to camp, we don't mention Luthen. We don't talk about Luthen. This was my idea. Never mention him again. And then immediately he's like, well, he didn't tell me that we were attacking a fortified garrison. He just said we were taking credits. And she's like, who didn't tell you? Who are you talking about? I
Yeah.
don't know who you're talking about. And
Yeah,
she's
it's
like,
like,
I
don't
said,
mention
don't
this, mention
fucking
what?
mention him. And yeah, that's when we see the TIE fighter patrol and get the better use of these screaming ships, because I assume that sound, I'm sure there's some space science reason, but it's probably also for intimidation.
It's their twin ion engines.
Okay. But I mean, it's intimidating,
That's what
but
TIE
it doesn't
stands
really
for.
work in space because you're
Maybe
all
it's
you're
just
all
like
in
a
ships.
Tesla, though. It makes no noise, and then they add that in. Okay.
I mean, you answered though. It sounds fucking cool.
Yeah, if they're flying over your village or your town and you have these screaming ships that are like pitch black and have this intimidating kind of look to them, even though they're intimidating to us, but really it's a ball with like sticks on the
It's a
side.
bow tie.
It's
I
not
think the noise is
intimidating.
just like a really slowed down Wilhelm scream. It's like
on Coruscant, Luthen's arriving there, and this is when he does the autopilot landing. He goes and gets dressed, and not only does he put on this disguise of like this wig and his rings and his gaudy robes,
Top to bottom, different person.
but
and
you
then,
see him coming out and doing like this presentation of like the smile and like
dude,
his
he's
like
the man of many faces. Like he,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's not even
a
like,
rebel has no name.
yeah.
because he's had this like gruff, squinty Stellan Skarsgård face this whole time, and now he's doing the more like
Stellar skateboard.
what's the word I'm looking for? Like ostentatious,
Yeah,
like presentation.
Not
like
only
he's-
cosmopolitan,
Yeah.
ostentatious.
well, he's an
very
art, he's-
Lando. Like,
yes,
ooh, let me
exactly.
look
that.
at myself in the mirror and do a finger
Yeah.
gun,
Yeah.
finger blaster.
Where,
talking to
where do
me?
you think he learned that from?
Yeah,
From Lando.
yeah.
Learned this one on Bespin.
It's cool because like you're thinking, okay, like a wig, how much of a difference is that gonna make? But his face is different when Mon Mothma gets
and
to
he
him
wipes
and-
off all that dirt and grime,
Yeah,
which might be makeup. I mean, he might also have like tanning makeup as well. But yeah, it's how he carries his face is
Yeah.
a big part of it too, and himself, like the way he's got his hands up.
well,
and
we
stuff
see
and-
him like when he gets down there. We'll just talk about his part real quick, and him and Mon Mothma. When he gets to his place, you see him like putting on his customer service voice, for
Uh-huh.
lack of a better phrase. Like,
Hi.
yeah, like first, like he's in the shop, and Mon Mothma pulls up in her space Rolls Royce.
Which doesn't look great. Like the CG on this,
No.
is so shiny.
But
It's
I thought
very.
it looked all right. I
But that's
wasn't
the thing,
it
it's
reminded me of a
supposed
Nubian cruiser.
So when she was leaving, I guess I looked and it looked
Yeah.
good. I didn't when
pulling
she was
up, it's
approaching, I
just
didn't
because
see
this show has been practical and looking really good,
yeah,
and,
Okay.
and maybe because it's been so grimy and lived in that now it's like, oh,
but that's the thing. It's supposed to be. It's like you were telling me when I complained about the stupid razor blade ship.
the Nubian.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be like this grandiose royal thing. She's
Right.
not royalty, but she's a senator, and like it seems
She's
like
rich
a very
as shit.
a very important.
She's living
top
in
Is
this
this
senator.
Padme's or whose?
This is Mon Mothma.
No, no.
Oh,
the razor blade
okay.
ship talking about was Padme's.
Yes,
yeah.
Padme. In the first one, it's like a football, and then in episode 2, it's a boomerang razor.
Okay.
But both super fucking reflective chrome.
But like she pulls up, and like you could see he's still got his like shadowed, shady face on, and he's got this girl working for him, Clea, who's his assistant, but also kind of his watchdog. Like she's sitting
Yeah.
there smiling and polishing stuff, but she's like, she's got a new driver,
And she knows exactly how to
Yeah.
distract the driver.
Yep.
yeah,
She has a new driver. Is it anyone we know?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably a shadow agent, I think they say.
I thought she said a Chandrillan because that's where
Mm.
because that's where Mon Mothma is from, right? Like another Chandrillan, but like it's this whole like, you know, as soon as they walk in, he doesn't have those shadows on his face. He's very like, hey, how are you guys doing? Welcome to my shop.
I bartend. I get it.
And like, one of the things I did notice in the shop was what the fuck are they called from Temple of Doom?
Okay, the stones, the Sakaran stones or something.
Yeah, something like
Something
that.
like
Yeah,
that.
I
That's
noticed
the one.
those in
That's
there.
the one that I figured you would notice.
Yeah.
All right, so I had to look some of these up, but I had about 7 or 8 of them. There is definitely the exact replica of Amidala's headdress.
Okay.
That big crown
I didn't look
one.
closely at all.
Yeah, what he's showing her is the Powan, fucking like meat cleaver looking thing. Powans are the Grand Inquisitor. We talked about him in the last series we
with
covered.
the ridgy
It's
head.
too loud.
There's Mandalorian armor. It looks just like Jango Fett's.
Oh,
like
I
that
did see the Mandalorian
kind of-
armor.
Yeah. In the back is a Temple Guard mask, the Jedi Temple Guard mask. Speaking of the Grand Inquisitor, that's what he was. It's a white mask with small slits in the eyes with gold filigree on it.
Ooh, don't remember.
So
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
the Grand Dragon's hood from the KKK. No, that's purple.
Well,
I just thought it was the gold filigree on your white hood.
he definitely has a fucking Sith holocron.
Oh,
okay.
I saw that.
Which is, just like a really hard to make kind of thing. Like Sidious never made his own, but they are just a way to pass on information and for a Sith to kind of live on a little bit.
He also had some Seth Helicron. Also, it was stinky. I saw some.
That's what it is. It's actually just a little container full of dank ass weed.
Oh, you see that little red smoke right there? You're gonna want to hit that.
But I saw that in the IMDb trivia. There's 3 of
in a
them.
kyber
there,
crystal
apparently.
jar.
And people knew exactly which ones they were. Of course, like
From
this movie. One was from Rebels, I think. What there's
Yeah.
like so.
We definitely get the alternate costume for Starkiller and Force Unleashed. It's the thing with the big spikes coming off the back of the head.
All right.
Just
Okay.
that helmet is from Force Unleashed. I thought that I saw a Powan helmet, but it was a Wookiee helmet. Right next to where they're first standing, there's a big gold fucking helmet.
Yeah.
That's a Wookiee like ceremonial warrior helmet.
Okay.
We have a Gungan shield,
Ugh.
which makes me hope that somewhere Luthen killed Jar Jar.
Oh my God, the songs of Naboo. I was listening to, was it Obi-Wan episodes we did?
Yeah.
The songs of Naboo. Oh my shit. I was fucking listening to it today.
It blew me away.
Oh my God.
There are tablets that are part of the World Between Worlds, which we'll address when we get to Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Much more.
In a while.
Yeah, way longer. And then 2 tablets made of carbonite.
Okay.
All
Like,
right.
which is kind of just they're all just cheeky little references that they hope nerds like me and other people pause. I didn't know the holocrons were specific.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly, but I remember it saying there was 3, and I thought that was I stopped reading when it got to that stuff because I was like, Jack will have this stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, Mon Mothma's there. By the way, Mon Mothma played by Genevieve O'Reilly, who has played Mon Mothma in multiple shows: Ahsoka, Rogue One, Episode 3. She did the voice in Rebels.
Oh, you said episode 3?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
I think I read that the scene was cut.
Okay.
So maybe
Was it?
not. Maybe not. But she was in Episode 3, and then they ended up.
That's
cutting it.
fantastic, though, that she just still looks that good.
She was also in the 2 Matrix sequels, the 2 and 3.
Okay.
But she was just like a Zion officer. I saw the name and I was like, what? And I looked it up and I was like, oh, I know exactly who she is.
I know Mon Mothma is a minor character in the original trilogy that a lot of casual people wouldn't even know, but I think that she is playing this part amazingly.
Maybe that's the one that got cut because there was a thing that mentioned that Mon Mothma was played by someone else in the original
Return.
trilogy in Return of the Jedi. So maybe that scene was cut because I don't remember her being in that. I remember them
Well, it
mentioning
said
her.
I actually read a little bit, and it said it's one of 4 women in. Trilogy.
Oh, okay. She's
So
she's
she
one of
did
she
make-
leads.
She did make it then. and-
She's one of the leaders of the rebellion.
a lot of Bothans had to die to get us this information.
That's probably her.
That's her.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
All right.
That's Mon Mothma saying that.
Okay, so then so she was cut from episode 3 then. That's
Got
what
it.
it was.
So was this actress?
It was this actress, yeah. But yeah, so Clea distracts the driver with some shiny coins. Mon Mothma is like looking
Is
for
that what you calling her boobs? Look at my shiny coins.
She's looking for a quote unquote a gift for her husband. So he's like, "Oh, let me show you some cool shit in the back room."
Yeah.
And they have their little whispered conversation, but it's quick because they
got
don't
a two-way
want this...
mirror. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because right behind him, it's reflective. When they go back, he can see everything that's going on, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Not only for Cloak and Dagger guy, but just in general, right?
As a shop owner.
Yeah, if you're in the back working on shit, restoring shit, you want to be able to see if people walk in. He doesn't have a ding when the door opens, so
Yeah, he's got her.
the door opens, she goes ding,
Ding. Hey, ding.
space ding.
You hear me?
It's
Dinging.
different because it's Star Wars.
Can't you hear me dinging?
But yeah, they're back there, and basically this is where they reveal like she's helping fund the rebellion, but she's having trouble coming through with this latest group payment of money, which I'm assuming is why he's got this other mission going, because he's like, she's not giving us the money because she's like, I'm having a lot of trouble moving shit around. There's a lot of people watching right now.
Yeah.
So I'm
It'd
assuming...
be tough, man. I mean, this is a very digital world. It'd be tough enough right now with what they like our world of trying to fund a rebellion.
Yeah, well, it's not like she's got pallets of credits at her house like they do in this garrison.
Yeah, it's really hard for politicians to funnel money through.
But I guess what I mean is if the FBI wanted you to not donate money, that would be hard for you to do.
Yeah, I think
they're
in
just
this
okay
case,
with what you're backing right now.
in this case, the banks are on the Empire side, so if she's trying to move money, they can see it. And
it's not
The banking clan is heavily on the Empire's side.
well, it's like that guy from Obi-Wan that was at the dinner party, right? He's like, "Hey, we're finally making money.
Yeah.
The Empire's great."
Yeah, I love the Empire. They keep us fat and happy.
She does mention she found someone else to bring into the circle, and Luthen's like, "Yeah, no." I'm sure that comes back. I don't remember.
It will.
And then also, we'll just talk about her other thing real quick. She goes home. Her husband, who's like
Will Forte.
fucking kept house husband. Fucking,
Oh, dude.
Looks like Will Forte.
yeah. And this guy is just so like his last line. I think he has it twice, but he's like, "Does everything have to be so boring and sad?"
Yeah, because she's like, why did you invite? Oh, she has. Did you catch any of the names that she was upset
No.
about? One you're not going to know, but the other one you're going to know is Sly Moore.
It sounded familiar.
So Sly Moore is the really bald, creepy chick in the prequels that hangs out next to Palpatine.
Oh, okay, that's why it sounded familiar.
Yeah,
because you
and
told
then
me
the
that.
other one, I have it somewhere, is Ars Dangor. And you would probably recognize him from the original trilogy, Episode 6. He's one of like the sycophant looking, like dressed up on the Death Star with Palpatine.
Oh, okay.
Like the Emperor says something to, I think, Vader. Vader walks away, and then there's these three really weird dressed looking dudes. They're all wearing like purple and pink robes.
Okay.
He's one of them.
Just a bunch of sadists and a bunch of masochists you're
Yeah.
inviting to our dinner party.
Dude, they're waspy as shit. Just like
That's basically what it is. Like,
it's
he's
exactly
like, "I'm
what it
having
is.
this party for my friend and these politicians," and she's like, "I hate all these people and they hate me." And he's like, "Well, it's too late to not invite them." And like, it's this very passive aggressive argument that they're.
I just want to
having.
have fun. You go ask the people who they're enslaving if they're having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, why does everything have to be so sad?
I mean, he does have kind of a good point here, but it's not what he really thought of. I think it's just what he thought of his defense when she's like, "These people hate me," and he's like, "Well, maybe tomorrow they won't."
yeah, that is a good point. But her point being, I'm never going to be okay with people that condone slavery or extortion or, and he's like, I'll live a little. They're making
On the
us
next episode of Husbands on Coruscant.
rich. The Real Husbands of Coruscant.
The Real Husbands
She
of
comes
Coruscant.
home after, I don't know what she does, but she comes home after doing that, and she's so mean to me. I'm just trying to have a Chandrellin cocktail, smoke a couple death sticks with the girls in the hot tub, maybe soak in the Bacta tank, and she's acting like a real nerf herder.
And the one other thing that happens I'm assuming it's on Coruscant. They don't say where Karn goes home. We
Yeah.
talked about it a little bit, but
Yeah, I'm assuming it's Coruscant.
yeah, because they don't say it's a big
because
city.
of the levels.
Yeah.
But it could be anywhere with levels. Coruscant's probably the only one that has 5,127.
I mean, between Empire people and Corpos, that is where you go, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the only place we've seen.
That's why he's such a bootlicker.
Yeah,
He lives in the capital
Yeah.
of the Empire.
and that's kind of the only place I think we've seen that is like this. Like there are other places with, like Cloud City or whatever it's called,
Bespin.
Bespin. Is
Bespin
kind of like hoity-toity, but pretty much everything else is more like grounded.
Yeah.
But when he goes home to his mom, who immediately slaps him, hugs him, and brings him into the house.
This gave me such heavy like Jewish mother in New York vibes.
Yes, yeah.
Because then she looks at the neighbors like, "What the hell are you looking at? Mind your own fucking business." I'm slapping here.
Her name is Edie Karn. She's played by Catherine Hunter.
Give me some roles because
So-
I know her.
She in Harry Potter, she's Mrs. Arabella Figg. That means
Okay.
nothing to me.
Yeah, she's one of the teachers.
But the things I recognize, so there's a new movie that's out right now in theaters called The Front Room with Brandy. It's like an A24 horror movie, and it's like an evil stepmom type of movie.
Oh,
She
yeah,
plays
she
the
like
evil
breaks her own
stepmom.
fingers and
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
And then she was last year, she was in Poor Things. She played, I think her name was Swiney. She's basically like the madam of this whorehouse that Emma Stone works at for a while. Little short, crazy looking lady that's selling off beautiful women.
Yeah, you've heard it 1,000 times.
But I just saw her today. So I watched
at the store.
I watched The Tragedy of Macbeth that Joel Cohen made back in 2021. I'd never seen it. Just randomly put it on. It's Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand, of course. They're just doing Macbeth, but it's it's really good, actually. I've never gotten into any Shakespeare because it was always like read it in class and it doesn't make any sense. People talking in old talk and you're not seeing anything. But seeing it was a whole different experience. But she plays the weird sisters, the witch that tells
the
Macbeth.
Fates?
Yeah, but there's only one of her. But then at one point there's three, and then she like changes, and she does like it's kind of this crazy thing
Weird.
because it's all visual. You can do it very different than you would do in a play. But she's playing that like the witch that tells him about like the prophecy of like no woman of or no man of woman born.
No woman, no
all that.
cry. You've heard the prophecy 1,000 times.
No woman, no cry. The no man of woman born, all that stuff. She's really good. Like I was watching it and she popped up and I was like, oh, we're talking about her today.
Yeah. Yeah, very distinct look. That's, voice too.
She's like, I don't know. I didn't look it up, but I'm gonna say she's 4 feet tall.
Yeah, looks it.
And just has this very, very like I smoked way too many cigarettes and yelled at a lot of kids' voice.
Oh God, I got one of those right now.
But that's kind of it for Coruscant, I believe. The rest of this is on Aldhani. So on Aldhani, Andor and Vel are still traversing to the camp.
Bro, Aldhani Wahlberg. Better not be no fucking Asians on that planet.
Okay, Reddit guy. No Asians in my Star Wars, dude.
Yeah, okay, Reddit guy. I thought about that when we get introduced to this group we're coming up on. I'm like, uh-oh, 2 black guys and an Indian female. Oh, no.
She does have this line to him where she's talking about Aldhani, and she's like, basically, it has the bad misfortune of not being close to anything, but also not being that far from everything.
So it makes it a perfect distribution center.
Yeah,
If
and
you want to take over the galaxy.
And later on, they say something I didn't quite get about like the storage of the caves, like the storage ability of the caves or something. That's the reason they built the garrison
Must
thing
be
there.
perfect climate control,
Something
and some
like that,
fucking
yeah.
security.
But yeah, she talks about how the Empire kind of drove all the native Aldhanis out who had been there for centuries, and it took them less than a decade to drive them all out of at least the Highlands. They didn't kill them all. They sent them to the Lowlands where they have like shitty Imperial cities and fucking track housing basically, and they're
Places
like,
like
go
Tarkin Town.
Yeah, well, or like it's Liverpool is what it is.
Yeah.
And they go live in these shitty houses and work in our factories.
That's Tarkin Town.
Oh, I thought Tarkin Town is just what we called it when they they CG in a fake person who doesn't live anymore.
No one actually lives here. We Tarkined them all. No, Star Wars Rebels. He's such a fucking megalomaniac that he has a little village built for him called Tarkin Town that's supposed to help people like, love the Empire. It does not go well. Maybe that's on Lothal.
They're getting to the camp though, and we meet our other characters. So Nemec is the little Irish kid you were talking about. He's supposed to be on guard duty, but he's asleep. This other guy, Skeen, wakes him up.
Skeen is just like, I don't trust you. Your name is Skeen.
Yeah, but look at him.
Yeah.
He comes up to him though, and he like pulls the gun on, pulls the trigger on like an empty gun or an
I think it charges
gun.
or something.
And he's like, "We're all dead now."
Yeah.
And that's when he's talking about if you were with Saw Gerrera or any of these other guys, they would have just put you on a fucking pike for fun.
Yep.
So don't do that. And he's like, don't tell Vel. And he's like, I won't, because you will.
Yeah.
But then they get distracted by Andor. But Skeen is one of the actors that I recognize.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna fuck this guy's name up. So
Is it
Ebon or Ebon, it's Ebon Moss Backrack.
I think that's
Ebon
right.
Moss Backrack.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
another Star Wars name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this guy was in the Punisher
As Micro.
series, right?
Yep.
The
Yep.
yeah.
John Bernthal.
I knew he was with a Punisher, and I couldn't remember which one.
He's gonna be playing Ben Grimm in the upcoming Fantastic Four.
Oh, is that him? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's doing
And
that.
then he's the brother
cousin.
or cousin in The Bear.
Yeah.
If anybody out there's
All right,
watched The Bear, the Hulu
Just
series, it's
watched
fucking
first
great. If you
episode.
have extreme anxiety, don't watch it.
Oof.
Or if you do have extreme anxiety like me, but you can control it by watching other people have it.
So my trick with that is I can only watch 2 episodes at once, and I normally binge the fuck out of things. With that show, I'm like 2 episodes and then a cartoon, like something else, because of that anxiety is like I like it and I can control it, like you said, by watching somebody else. But I need a fucking palate cleanser before I.
And
go
it's
to
got to
bed.
be even worse for someone like you who's worked in restaurants.
It's so parts of it make me miss the restaurants. Other parts, I'm
It
like,
kind of makes me
"Fuck
miss
that."
that type of kitchen, even though
Yeah.
it sucks. Like I kind of miss
Because
it.
what happened was after work, y'all got high and drunk together.
Yeah.
Had a great fucking
Yeah,
night.
you're like,
dude.
we're going to the bars
It's
for all
a
night.
mini version of going to war together.
And then after party after that.
yeah. Oh, the after parties.
Where you talk about work and you're like, this is the last work story, okay? This is the last work story.
Man, fuck Mark.
But
He's not even a
when-
good manager, dude. Like, why did he get promoted? And I
And then you
don't?
got friends like,
Your
why are
dick
we
is
talking
out.
about work right now? We're here.
That was always me, dude. I would walk up to people like, this is your last work story if you want to keep drinking. Now we get to introduce the team.
Well, right before they introduce the team, I love this little touch of like doing it's almost like the old Star Trek gag. And I'm sure neither of you guys watched any like original series episodes, but like
a little
what
bit.
what they
the
used to
old
do
school
on that when they
60s.
had space animals is they would just take like a normal dog and just like strap a horn on its head, that kind of thing. Because this is just a pen full of goats, but they have like 4 horns that are all twisty, and it's like I feel like someone just put horns on a real goat and was like, "It's fine."
That'll work. Boom, space goat. Space goat, coast to coast.
But yeah, we meet the team. So there's Terraman.
Wait, real quick. We get a shot of one of the black dudes, the mustached one, has his gun out.
That's Terraman because he's the one who's at the
Terraman.
camp. Yeah.
Okay, and it's 2 Kalashnikov. It's an AK-47.
Well, he's a rebel.
I know, and I get that all the original Star Wars guns were borrowed from museums, so they are real guns that they made modifications to make them look spacey. So I get that. This is too recognizable. It's 2 Kalashnikov or
Okay.
SKS maybe, but either way, it even like maybe change the banana clip, keep the receiver, keep the bolt.
Oh, I wish I would have paid attention because I would have liked that. I didn't really
I'll
notice
bring up
that.
an image,
Okay.
but
Yeah, you're just like too Earth based here.
I think
Yeah.
it was this episode. I did research for a lot of episodes last night for this show and our other show, so I might be getting things mixed up. But I think it was this one on IMDb under the goofs section, which occasionally I'll just scroll through to see if there's anything worth
Noteworthy,
saying.
yeah.
Because he brought this up. Someone talks about a certain gun, and it might have been this one, but they're like, it's supposed to be an energy weapon, but it's still got a bolt in it, and or like whatever. And I'm like, who cares?
fuck off.
Who cares?
Like you just said, this is pre-Rebels. These are like early Rebels.
Yeah.
Maybe theirs have bolts. They
Yeah.
don't have the money to have a fucking repeater. You know.
Could you imagine?
Look at the Tusken Raiders. They have muskets. Fuck off.
I was about to say, I guess we have seen it. I was like, could you imagine having a laser gun that you had to put a new cartridge in every time? But
Yeah, this Disruptor has to.
yeah,
Because that's a fucking different bolt.
yeah. But so there's Terraman, who's the very big, imposing black guy.
Dude, he's got a fucking cop mustache that makes me want to take orders from him. He is getting too old for this shit.
And there's Nemec, who's the boyish Irish kid.
I fancy myself as a poet.
And then Cinta, who is the
Sent to her room.
Indian or Middle Eastern, like, she's like their medic.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah.
She's also got like a uniform of sorts. They're all wearing like what the natives would wear, it looks like.
They're very
She's
they're very
kinda doing
alpaca
that,
farmers.
but she's got like a uniform almost with the native stuff on top of it.
Okay.
It looks like something more like she came from somewhere else. But
I don't know if you remember her arc, but we'll see.
I don't
Okay,
remember
good.
shit.
Good.
So they send Andor off with Cinta. She dresses the wound. It looks pretty brutal. It's a blaster bolt. It's a blaster hit.
Baby.
And like when she unwraps it, real quick, I want to mention, speaking of goofs, when Cassian's on Luthen's ship, he's like, hey, go fix your shit. So he just wraps a bandage around his jacket.
Yeah.
But now when she's unwrapping it, it's wrapped
It's
around his
under.
actual wound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like wrapped the way you should wrap it. He just kind of like twisted it around like he was making
The Force
oh, okay. What am I thinking of when you have to stop the blood flow?
tourniquet.
Oh,
Tourniquet.
yeah.
There you go. You know what I meant.
Yeah, I got you. That's what I'm here for.
But they're all having an
the
argument
word
about
guy.
Cassian being there. They're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we go in 3 days. Why are you bringing in new people? She's like, well, he believes in the
redundant.
cause and he can really help us. And da da da. And she's saying all this shit that she doesn't believe.
Yeah.
She doesn't want him there.
And Luthen even said it. He buys you a much needed redundancy.
And
Teach him everything, and he'll back up any fucking part of the plan needed.
Yeah, when someone goes down, inevitably,
Uh-huh.
you'll have an extra person.
and we're supposed to or led to believe that these cats have no idea that Luthen exists, and that's
Yeah.
why he needs to
Yeah.
be not mentioned.
yeah. The only people who know about Luthen are Vel and Cassian.
Yeah.
Clem.
It's the
Clem.
whole,
Clem de Menthe.
like the,
Clem Dick,
everybody needs to know what they need to know.
New England
kind
clem
of thing.
chowder.
Clemdrick Lamar.
Clemato.
Dude, you guys need to climb up. We're going to talk about this episode.
Did you ever see Motorhead with Clemmy? He has short shorts.
I edited the school holocron.
Can you imagine? Like, so I just thought about our other conversation before many episodes ago, probably another podcast where we talked about Lemmy in his short shorts and got us talking about Hitler.
Oh yeah,
in
that
short
was
shorts.
that was definitely.
Is there an
bad
image
movie.
of Sidious in short shorts somewhere? Like,
Oh,
you're gonna
yeah.
go for a nice dip in the pool. Oh, I've been in too long. Look at that. I'm wrinkly. I'm all raisiny.
I am making bratwurst. We're crossing over.
Made out of Ewoks.
These bratwurst are good.
That's so
I cook it in
cool.
my wok.
Nemec is the only one here who trusts him. He's just like, oh, I have a good feeling about him. I do.
Oh,
That's,
do,
that's
I
English,
do.
but
Yeah,
you know
still.
what I mean.
I've got a good feeling about this one. He's got a good twinkle in his eyes. He smells of brandy like my
Look,
dad.
I know he believes in the cause. No, he doesn't, and you don't know that.
He actually doesn't know what the cause is right now, and he's in this for the money. Y'all don't know he's getting paid.
And then we meet Lieutenant Gorn, who is their mole inside. And good thing they've got a high up mole. I'm assuming Lieutenant's pretty high for like a small garrison
for-
like
for-
this.
He might have been wearing a cape, right? Like
He was wearing a cape.
Yeah,
Not
all
maybe,
right.
not might be.
There we go.
For
He's-
surely.
he definitely is a mole. Good job, dude.
Moles and capes.
and he's also pissed. He's like,
Mhm.
I don't like there being another guy here who has my throat in his hand, and I don't know anything
Now
about
you know how
him.
I feel.
Yeah.
That's what Cassian claps back.
Yeah.
He's got a valid point though. He's like, dude, what if I didn't make it out here? You're gonna like start this off with a face I don't know, liable
Yeah.
to shoot him.
Exactly, because
I barely trust all you motherfuckers here.
he's
Like,
got to
Yeah.
run
doesn't do
away
that.
in between like security checks, basically. Like he's here secretly, and he's like, I got to get back because I got another security check at midnight.
You have me till midnight at the
Yeah.
earliest.
When they're telling him about the ship, he's got to steal this ship. It's called they call it a Rono.
Yeah.
Rono.
Rondo? No, that's impossible. Rondo. Rono.
But it's
Rono?
basically it's a box.
It's a Ronco.
It's a box freighter.
It's a Ronco, dude. You set your fucking star path and you forget about it.
Just set it and forget it.
Set
dude.
it and forget it. How do we get out of here? Set it and forget it. I love my Ronco ship.
But yeah, like they're asking Cassian if he can fly one. He's like, a box freighter. He's like, it's not really flying, but yeah, I can do it.
that.
Implying what he says later, which is these things are not maneuverable. They basically go forward.
Yeah.
It's-
Because their plan is, I think we're talking about it now, right?
yeah, they have 9 minutes to steal all these credits.
And 9 minutes is not enough time for this Ronco to break orbit. But they know that there is I want to say celestial event
Yeah.
that happens where it's like an asteroid field kind of thing.
Uh,
Nemec says it tells you exactly what it is.
and that's actually, I want to point that out because Nemec seems kind of stupid through most of this, but then suddenly when they're talking about, it's called the Eye of
He's
Aldhani.
people stupid.
Yeah, when they're talking about this event, which is called the Eye of Aldhani, they have a native
Every
name
3
for
years.
it, but it's every 3 years down to the millisecond, he says. And he's like, they're actually not asteroids. They're something crystals. They're basically super heavy, but they're not durable. And so when they go through the atmosphere, they explode in the atmosphere, and it makes the really beautiful thing.
down here, chaos in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely a poet. He's, Aldhani eyes are always smiling. He's just looking up at these fuckers every 3 years. Oh, shay, give me some of that scotch from the Highlands. I'm from the lowlands down here on an island. I'm the Islay. Yeah, I mean, this is Ireland and Scotland because we talked about the,
Yeah.
Highlands, lowlands is very Scotland.
It's
and-
just funny how people get upset about certain accents in Star Wars. Like Bill Burr ended up being in Mando season 2, I think.
He's in 1 and 2, I
One,
think.
two- Oh yeah, he is. He's in
Yeah.
1 and 2. And I remember online, everyone's like, fucking great. Now Brooklyn's in Star Wars. And he's like, there's English accents. There's Irish accents.
Yeah.
All that's better than whatever fucking you have Jar Jar saying.
Yeah, you want Bill Burr showing up being like, I'm a security officer.
Or do you want him to try like, oi, I'm a sharpshooter, I is.
Like, it's a galaxy.
Yeah.
It's a big place.
Yeah. A lot of different accents, dude.
Like, our solar system alone has dozens of accents.
Have
They're
we-
all on this planet.
Have we ever had a Southern accent in Star Wars? Like a, well, doggone, we gonna get going now.
Not that I remember hearing on any of the live action stuff. There's definitely some in the books.
There's definitely some of the cartoons.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering about live action. I don't think so.
Yeah, that should have been Freck, fucking the driver with the MAGA truck. Like,
Freck should have been with his galactic
y'all
flag.
hop
off
in the back. Hey, y'all, you guys need a ride?
Or Nick
Nothing
Nolte.
wrong with some civility.
Nick Nolte could have been Southern.
No, you never have Nick Nolte do anything but his voice.
I want to
I
hear
have spoken.
I want to hear that voice. Be like, listen, y'all.
All right, y'all. Here's the problem. We're going to be rustling up some of them globs, and we're going to get out of here as soon as possible. I can't even keep my southern accent because I'm Nick Nolte. Fucking hell. I'm just so mad they're doing me. Have you seen what they made me look like? I'm a little feller. I'm not little.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that.
I microdose myself with date rape drugs. Move on.
I fucking love Nick Nolte.
Yeah, Nick Nolte's great.
But yeah, so their plan is basically there's 9 minutes before the TIE fighters can arrive there. So they got to get all these credits, load them on the ship, and get out through the Celestial event. They're going to use this as cover. That's the plan. And I'm sure it'll work perfectly smoothly.
It will, yeah.
There won't be any issues.
Happily ever after.
Yeah. They have this like awkward dinner around the fire because like Cassian's just like food, and everybody's just watching him.
This is like my personal nightmare. It's just everybody watching me eat.
And Terramin,
they're like, "Can I take a fry though? Can I just have one?"
Yeah, my phone. Turn to Nick Nolte when I'm hungry.
I have spoken.
Can I finish my food? Don't come in my room. I am stroking.
But Terramin brings him this basically Space Chilton's manual for the ship that he's got to steal, and it's like, here's how all the shit in the ship works.
I also got you the Kelly Blue Book on how much the Ronco's worth.
Also in this tablet, you've got basic Aldhani phrases, whatever, and he's like, cool, can I finish eating, or should I do this now? And Vel is like, yeah, you can eat, and then Cinta will redress your wound, and then you learn all that shit before the sun comes up.
Yeah, you do whatever you want. You're learning it before the fucking morning.
And that's basically the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So
I am so excited. Like, I want to keep watching.
It's just such a weird flow of these two episodes because it's like the peak of the first story and then the beginning of the next.
We should have recorded episodes 1, 2, and 3 together. We didn't think about it.
Yeah. Although then we would have had a 3.5 hour long episode about
episodes.
I cannot talk about Star Wars forever. Sometimes. But yeah, this is just such a good show, man, top to bottom.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody's pulling their weight. There's not a weak spot that in my mind right now. Like, even the character Tim MM, who we hated, he's played well.
Yeah, that's why we hated him.
Stellar Skateboard, dude, is just my favorite thing in this show.
Yeah,
now and in later episodes.
Yeah, he's really good. Diego Luna is just fucking like. At the beginning, you just see kind of, I mean, he still hasn't changed much, but you just see his kind of selfish, like, whatever side, but you can see him changing, and he's got these just, it's all in his expressions and the way he's presenting himself.
Because he's not softening.
Yeah.
He's still going to be that gruff, tough, hard guy, but it's a different, he's getting purpose. He's getting there.
Well, you see him looking, like I said, looking at Nemec when he's talking, when they're looking at the model of the place they're going to rob, and he's like, oh, don't touch that part. I'll move it because it breaks really easily, whatever. And he gives him this, like, what the fuck are you talking about look? But then he starts talking about the crystals falling into the atmosphere and all that. And he's like, gives him this impressed. And it's not like he's going like, ooh, and these big wide features. He's just like, it's in his eyes.
It's subtles.
It's in his eyes completely, which is a really good performance.
Something cool is this could be a standalone sci-fi series, not in the Star Wars universe. And I would be captivated, but it is also within the Star Wars universe, so it just is kind of that payoff. Like, this is very well written, it's captivating, and it's also in the Star Wars verse.
Yeah, well, because then you can skip with it being in the Star Wars, because it's 100%. It's its own story. It has almost nothing to do with anything.
You quickly understand the Empire if you've never seen a Star Wars
Yes,
movie.
exactly.
And corporations and the Resistance, and
you skip the world building because the world's been built for 40 fucking years.
You don't need to know about
names.
a Darth. You don't need to know about any
Skywalker.
Jedi.
I mean the only name drop we've gotten is Saw Gerrera. Really, I mean,
which is just another name in passing if you've never seen Rogue One or the cartoons. That's just a fucking name. It's a Star Wars name.
Yeah. So I'm excited to keep watching.
Yeah,
you said you
very
were,
much,
Ryan.
dude.
Definitely love it.
I'm jealous of him. This is his first time watching this, and like just watching with those eyes is fantastic.
And it's almost fun that we've done it on ones where it's like incomplete, because after episode 2 I wanted to keep watching, and now after episode 4 I'm like, damn, okay, we're on the peak of some really good stuff. So it's kind of fun in that sense for me.
And I mentioned last time I had intended on continuing watching, but I just never had time. So then I just watched these twice.
Yeah. You made up for it.
I was up last night and I was like, I should just watch it now. And I took my notes and stuff. And then today I had about an hour and a half before you guys got here. So I was like, well, I was going to watch them again.
And actually just without notes, like I'm going to enjoy this.
I could just watch.
You start looking at the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, we'll be back talking about episodes 5 and 6, which are The Axe Forgets and The Eye. So again, definitely the conclusion of a 3-episode arc.
I see a trend here.
Don't forget, you can check us out at hantookshotfirstpod.com. You can send us an email at hantookshotfirst@gmail.com. You can ask questions. You can tell us how we're wrong. We'd love to hear it, because Jack knows a lot.
I would love to hear it, but I would hear it. It's always
Jack
tough
knows a
hearing
lot.
it.
I know almost nothing, and I think Ryan knows less than me.
Yep.
So correct us.
Yeah.
So I've been Derek.
I'm Jack.
I'm fucking Ryan.
Good night, and Chandrill yourself. Fucking shave my beard and sell houses.